The Lion King. We're very, and the captain said he's quite embarrassed because he's the agent of hair.
Hello. This is Claire.
I'm Poppy, baby. I'm Poppy, baby. I'm Poppy. I'm Poppy, baby.
Don't complain. Stop yelling, all you chatters in over.
I know. It's time to react because it's time when it's gonna get paid.
Time to change.
There's a lot of people that believe in the Bible. Then what is that?
Races.
Is that just another one of these stories? Did they copy the Bible, or did the Bible copy them?
No idea if this is for.
That pisses people off when you say anything about we didn't go to the moon or flat Earth. We didn't go to the moon, flat Earth. Okay. Stage of denial. It's the first stage of grief is denial. True. Really? Would a woman say that? Well, that's part of it as well. That makes you feel, whether it's your husband, your wife, your kids, they're going to remember this. And so all of us remember that Mandela didn't die.
The reason why it is the frequency of love, it's the common factor that...
Who gets the house? Who gets the basement in the divorce? That's what I want to know. The moon, every freaking 4 days, it's a super blood wolf, crazy green, yellow, blue, purple moon. My career would be over if I did that. You see how it's a different game with different choices? This is so much like the simulation we live in right now. I have an experience like where the world's been in lockdown and there's military coming in the residential streets, and I was maybe a little angry, but I kind of like it. I really don't, because they want us to feel afraid because we're going to be shamed by the normal community of mainstream if you say anything. I don't care. I don't care. Shame me. Do it.
We have new information now also on the plane crash. KTVU has just learned the names of the 4 pilots who were on board the flight. They are Captain Sum Ting Wong, Wee Tu Lo, Ho Lee Fook, and Bang Ding Ao. The NTSB has confirmed these are the names of the pilots on board Flight 214 when it crashed. We are working to determine exactly what roles each of them played during the landing on Saturday. If
you're fucking happy and you motherfucking know what, clap your motherfucking hands. If you're fucking happy and you motherfucking know what, clap your motherfucking hands. If you're fucking happy and you motherfucking know it and you really motherfucking want to motherfucking show it. If you're motherfucking happy and you motherfucking know what, clap your motherfucking hands.
Yes, I cry. Yes, I cry. Oh my God. Here I am. Once again. Up off the world. Watch my phone.
My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
Well, 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 if it isn't the cartoon world. It's amazing how often I get put in jail and how often I get silenced. What confuses me is this. I listen to a certain, hi everybody, by the way, happy Friday night. Happy Friday. I think it's Friday. Is it Friday? Yes, it's Friday. Let me ask Alexa. Alexa, is it Friday?
Yes, today is Friday, April 15th.
Alexa, do you work for the CIA?
No, I work for Amazon.
Same. Amazon, CIA. All right. Speaking of, so latest news, of course, you guys know Elon Musk. Is he good or bad? Is Elon Musk like part of the system, or is he good? I think my theory of Elon Musk is that he Musk. I think he was the first person with the brain interface. I think he actually got the first implant in his brain, and he is connected to the AI. But what I love about the latest things that he's going to buy Twitter. Now, if he buys Twitter, the reason he's a little bit of a rebel, which I like, although this whole Starlink thing confuses me, because if he's Starlink, he's not really, he's part of the problem, right? But if he buys Twitter and I can get my account back, he gets, 5 stars rating for me. I would rate Elon Musk 5 stars if I was able to be on Twitter again, because he's going to buy Twitter. They actually made some kind of bargain with him, Elon Musk, some kind of bargain, or they said something to the effect that they would make him the major shareholder, something, but he wasn't allowed to say anything bad about him or about Twitter. And then he was like, nope, because he can't be bought, which I love. Silence is consent. Don't be silent. Yeah, no. Plus, trust me, I'm not silent ever. People want me to be silent, and they put me in jail and they give me strikes and whatever. But I'm telling you, I like the move. Whatever Elon's doing, I like it. I like him buying the twat, buy twat. Scare the shareholders into maybe possibly going back to a world with a little bit of freedom. So the clip that I showed where people were singing on the airplane, that was before America became Nazi Germany. Remember that? Wasn't that fun? Woo! Yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to share with you was a tiny bit of one of my favorite bloggers, truthers, I get the news from him because he's not Republican, he's not Democrat. He liked how Trump stood up to the news, just kind of said what he wanted. And then he realized Trump was part of the problem as well. So I'm going to share a little bit of that. I'm going to share a little bit of someone who actually called it NHS and is trying to come over to America without having to deal with the draconian measures that they keep going back and forth on. We're going to lift it. No, we're going to instill it. Oh, they're lifted. The mask mandate, lift, instill. Oh, it confuses all of us, right? But how is Anomaly able to talk about this stuff? And then I say one thing and I got to strike 3, you're out. You know what I mean? I don't understand it, but I'm going to share it because I like what he had to say today. I was going to talk about the exact same thing. And then all of a sudden I realized he had already mentioned it and he has no problem with you sharing his stuff. So let's just tune in for a second. Fauci admits lockdowns were used to get people to take the jibby jab and more. I'm just going to share a couple of minutes of this and then we'll talk. Here we go. Anomaly. If you're not subscribed to him, you should. He not only is a good guy, he's a straight shooter.
Long time, including Bill Gates' initial 2016 investment into Moderna. So I put together a little clip for you guys that I wanted to share, just of some stuff that I found fascinating that I want to share with the world before, they try to close off the gates of information and cry about Elon Musk more. Take a watch.
Or anybody wanted it to happen, including Dr. Fauci, who I always got along with pretty well, but I usually did the opposite of what he wanted. He said the vaccine would take 3 to 5 years and probably wouldn't even happen.
Right.
And I got it done in less than 9 months. I think that's one of the great achievements. And I think another great achievement, I think the best bet ever made was I bought billions and billions of dollars of vaccine before we knew it worked, before we had it approved, because otherwise we'd be waiting until October of this year. So you probably got vaccinated. Most people did. And I think the best bet ever made was I bought billions and billions of dollars of vaccine before we knew it worked, before we had it approved.
Ivanka Trump even spilled the beans in November of 2020, saying, fact check, this Moderna NIH vaccine is literally the one that President Donald Trump partnered with Moderna to create on January 13th, 2020. I repeat, January 13th, 2020. Just be happy. This is great news for America and for the world. Geez, January 13th, 2020. That's pretty early. Axios reported the NIH claims joint ownership of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine, so it's a government-Moderna collaboration, like Ivanka said. And there was a fight over it, but I guess Moderna did offer and eventually conceded that the NIH did have co-ownership over the COVID vaccine. Right on Moderna's website, under strategic collaborators, it has Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In January 2016, we entered a global health project framework agreement with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to advance mRNA-based development projects for various infectious diseases. Lucky them. Bill Gates also claims that Donald Trump offered him a science advisor position in which he turned down. So I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory, as they would call it, or whatever, but I am just connecting dots. So in 2016, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation started working with Moderna on their mRNA technology. Before the lockdown, this was in, the lockdown in America was March 2020. The Trump administration, according to Ivanka and probably federal records, started working with Moderna on this, mRNA coronavirus vaccine 2 months before the lockdown. And then it comes out later that Moderna and the NIH actually have co-ownership over the vaccine. So the vaccine is not just owned by Moderna, it's also owned by the NIH, the National Institute of Health, which Fauci is a part of. What's interesting is Moderna actually tried to kick the government out of it, and then they came to an agreement. I guess there was some sort of controversy that the NIH didn't want the government to have co-ownership, but allegedly they already did or something. So there's all this sort of drama over this stuff. The reason I bring this up, besides the fact that I find it fascinating, is, when I played that clip with Donald Trump and he said, I made one of the greatest bets in history, right? I bought billions of dollars worth of this amazing mRNA vaccine before we even knew if it worked or not. And, I know it works well. And listen, I would never say on my live stream that it doesn't work amazingly, because I read articles about people who are triple vaccinated who are saying that they've tested positive 5 times. And, something works amazingly when the CDC director, after Trump makes a great bet buying billions of dollars of this product before he knows it works, comes on national television and says something like this that ends up not being true. This is how you know it's a good product, when they say stuff like this and it ends up not actually being true.
Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick, and that it's not just in the clinical trials, but it's also in real world data.
It's not true, but it's okay, Rochelle Walensky. You still, Trump made a great bet, and it's still an amazing product. We live in Sharia law, okay? In Islamic countries, sometimes they live under Sharia law. They love Allah, they love God. God is great. In America, we bow down to Rochelle Walensky. We bow down to, we don't have God is not at the center of our country. We have Pfizer and Moderna and rainbow flags. And if you disagree, you need to be quarantined in your house. It's that's unfortunately just, what's going on in this country. And the point I guess I'm trying to make is this. I saw mandatory vaccinations coming before the lockdown. So I felt like when Trump says, well, this was this great bet that, we spent billions of dollars and, it just so happened to work out. Maybe it wouldn't have. This is my question to you. And I already know my own answer in my head. Do you think that the government is going to work with Moderna, right? Own part of the patent. They're going to buy billions of dollars of Pfizer and other products. And they're just going to if I'm not saying this happened, this is a hypothetical different world because you're not allowed to think this way in this current world, in the Truman Show we live in. But, say they made $1 billion bet, Trump or Fauci or whoever was in office made $1 billion bet, multi-billion-dollar bet, and they paid all this money for these, medical products. And the medical products ended up not being what they thought they were going to be. Let's just say, do you think that they would have the humility and honesty to say, hey, we spent $15-18 billion on these products and they don't work as great as we thought. And, maybe the trials didn't go as good as we thought they were going to go. And they would just put them aside. Of course not. Of course not. Once the bet was made by Donald Trump, he's trying to tell his audience, I, had this great foresight that they would work out even before. And it's like, dude, once you made that bet, it's over. You know what I'm saying? That the government, the media, they're under no, they don't care about what's going on. They don't care about the trials. They don't care about reality. They don't care if their predictions were wrong and Rochelle Walensky was giving out bad intel. Their entire world revolves around doing a PR team for this product and acting as if it's the greatest human accomplishment ever. So I find it a little disingenuous to be like, wow, what an amazing bet I made. And it's like, once you made that bet, the money's there. They're not going to admit it, in my opinion. I just want to show you a few tweets I had just to show proof, because I know a lot of times people say, well, Anomaly, it's easy to figure it out after, whatever. And I get it. Listen, everybody has an opinion, but I just want to show you that I believe, just like Fauci said, the lockdowns are really to get people vaccinated, and you have the government working with Moderna before the lockdowns even exist. I had seen this coming even before that. So, I'm not one of these sideline quarterbacks that's just like 5 months later, like, oh, mandatory vaccines are bad. I felt like they were already doing this a year prior. So when all this happened, I actually predicted all of this beforehand. I just want to show you 3 tweets from different times. This is the first one. It's from 2019. So it's like 7 months, 6 months before the pandemic. I said, medical freedom's under attack in America right now. Unfortunately, most conservatives don't care, and most liberals don't realize universal health care means total government control over the health industry, which will soon include mandatory injections if both sides sleep. Hold on. I just want to go back to that, and then I'm gonna click it again. But I just want to show you, that was 9/8. That's what is that? September 8th, 2019. That's like 7-8 months before the pandemic. I said, mandatory injections are coming. I was trying to warn people. I saw it coming before the lockdowns because I saw the way the medical industry was working in certain Democrat states. And then I said on 3/12, which is before the lockdown, I said, imagine if they don't let you fly or go to public venues if you don't get the vaccine. You thought China was bad. Just wait. This is what happens when you don't realize how deep the swamp is and nothing gets done about it. That was a couple days before the lockdown even started. And this is maybe one of my best tweets ever. This was a few days before the lockdown started. I said, they're going to use this to push medical tyranny, mandated vaccines, government mandated lockdowns, authoritarian power grabs, even bigger speech censorship. Life will never be the same, and Trump doesn't have a magic plan to save you till the end of time. Unlike the QAnon psyop, I was trying to tell people, listen, this Trump doesn't have this super secret Nikola Tesla plan. People got so mad at me this will never happen anomaly. None of those are going to happen. Trump has a plan. I was right. You were wrong. Have some humility. Admit it. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying I tried to warn people all this stuff is coming, and all of that did come. Literally, I said that before the lockdown. I'm not showing people this to brag. I'm simply showing people this to say, this idea that all of this just happened spontaneously, like Trump miraculously worked with Moderna 2 months beforehand. He miraculously just doled out billions of your taxpayer dollars in a socialist scammy way to give it to corrupt big pharma. And it's this amazing bet that he saved humanity with because he knew they would work before he even knew that they would work. And miraculously, Bill Gates was offered a position in his, in his administration a year prior as a science advisor. And I mean, it's just all just spontaneous. And then it's like, no, I tend to agree with, believe it or not, Fauci, where, the lockdowns are used to sell vaccines, as he said, or the lockdowns are used to get people vaccinated. So this, in my opinion, was the greatest marketing scheme in modern history. You had first a lockdown where they were inflating the numbers. Dr. Birx and the health director of Illinois admitted that they were counting liberally. So anybody that died with COVID, they would say died from COVID, and they made no difference between the numbers. That's not my opinion. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is mainstream American data. They weren't trying to figure out, well, out of these 20 people that died with COVID, COVID was huge and 7 of them and 3 of them got hit by a car, whatever. They weren't even trying to do that. This is just how they counted. They said, if you died and you tested positive for COVID at any time in that time frame, you died from COVID. So they inflated the numbers that way. The death counts were way inflated early on. They said 3.4 death rate, World Health Organization, lockdowns, scaring the crap out of people, locking them in their house, already working on the vaccine before they had the lockdown, telling you basically dangling your freedom in front of your face and saying, you're not going to be able to go back to normal unless you get this vaccine. I know a lot of athletes, you can't go to Australia unless you get the vaccine. You can't play in New York unless you get the vaccine. So it wasn't simply like, we're going to just promote and show you how great this product is and you're going to want to get it naturally. It was like a fear/authoritarian communist, like dictator campaign where you will not go back into society until you get this product. So I don't know if Fauci meant to say that, or I don't know what he's doing anymore, but in a weird way, I'm glad he said that on television. I know what he was talking about, don't do that, China, blah, blah, blah. But that's pretty much true. It's like, yeah, one of the greatest selling points to the vaccine was lockdowns. And
Love this guy for many reasons. And this is one of them. He tells it like it is, straight shooter, but doesn't get banned. He's able to talk about his stuff. I say anything. Gone. Now, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up, guys, is this. I understand his pain because I, as well, spoke fortuitously, wasn't psychic, I just followed the money, about what was going to happen. Of course, I was labeled a conspiracy. Of course, everybody, my family, my friend, they're not going to force you to take it. They're not going to force you. They're going to force you, Rachel. They're not going to force. That will never happen. That will never happen. I'm just over it. I'm over it. But I can show you just a second, just like he did, way before. This is before the mask mandates. This is before anything. This is like I think January 2020. I'll share a second of it because now we can. Before we couldn't, but now we can because, rules change all the time, right?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Hollywood on America's Live. I'm looking very forward to talking to my next guest. She is a 4-time Emmy-nominated host of ABC's The Wildlife Doc. She's also a comedian, an actress, a writer, and a wildlife conservationist. Rachel Reenstra, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Great to have you on the show. Okay, so I discovered you through a friend of a friend on social media, and I know that you have been speaking out about a lot of issues. You have a lot of videos out there.
Had a lot of videos out there. Not anymore.
These are topics that mainstream media especially doesn't want to talk about. So tell us a little bit about your genesis. You started out in Hollywood, your career in Hollywood, to what you do now.
Oh, that's a lot.
Tell us everything you've ever done. Tell us about how you feel about this pandemic in 10 seconds or less on live TV, and go. And go. And then I get a phone
I
call.
moved out of here. I'm in Los Angeles most of the time. And I moved out about 26 years ago to get into comedy. And I also love animals. And so it's been an amazing ride. But what I found is once I started making videos that brought out the truth about certain things, like the chemicals in the air that we're breathing, all of a sudden it wasn't as easy to get work anymore. But what's exciting to me is all the people that are waking up right now. It's incredible. I mean, people that are realizing we're here to live a healthy, wonderful life and not be sprayed. But if anyone speaks out about it, like the doctor I was telling you about in the chemtrail video, he's not for vaccinations. He is for your health and your immunity. And I honestly think that that's what we need to be focusing on. But when someone asks that, like any doctor, like Judy Makovitz and Dr. Buddha, Dr. Shiva, they all somehow get silenced. So it's a quandary. And you, being a newscaster, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah, put it back on her. Put it back on her. See what she
recently,
says.
I partnered with an organization on a campaign relating to coronavirus, and our videos just keep getting taken down. So unfortunately, if you offer a countervative, social media and mainstream media, they don't seem to appreciate that. But speaking of that, let's talk about this pandemic, this global pandemic. What's your take on what's happening right now?
The interesting thing, what I say in this is less controversial than what Tucker Carlson says on Fox News, or what Anomaly says, or Russell Brand. What I say right now, like coming up in this, and by the way, this got 250, that almost got 500,000 views. It was taken down from all social media the next day. Why? Why was it taken down the next day? What did I say here that was so controversial? Controversial? What did I say? And this was, by the way, pre-mask, pre-vaccine. This is like a couple people were just getting sick. That literally, this is it. What did I say that has not come true and that is so scary for anybody? What did I say? Please tell me, because I'm curious. By the way, this showing this because the only place that didn't remove it was brand new tube.
It's not going to be popular, and people might call it a conspiracy theorist, but CIA made that word up back when people were questioning authority when JFK was assassinated. And what I feel is happening is the numbers don't add up. Something just doesn't feel right about everything that they're telling us in mainstream.
Something doesn't feel right. Is that controversial? Controversial? I feel like that word. I'm not saying that word right. Something doesn't feel right. All right. So far, you can't fact check that, can you? Something doesn't feel right. That's called my intuition. Okay. So far, so I'll keep going. Keep going. Previous Rachel. Previous psychic Rachel. Previous Rachel that was right about every single thing she said in January 2020.
No. So I'm not going to say there's not a virus, but I will say that there's an agenda behind the virus that I think is being pushed, which is forced vaccinations, contact tracing. I mean, it's an Orwellian society we're living in now, it feels like. And people know it. They can feel it. I mean, we might not agree on politics, but what we can agree is that something isn't right. Like, everyone in the world realized that Jeffrey Epstein did not suicide himself. We all know that. We all feel that something is not right about this virus. What's going on? What's the truth behind it? And for us to get to the truth nowadays is really difficult because people have been looking to the media for the truth. And trust me, I've been in the media. I've been on television. There's been many things on television that people used to believe. Gilligan's Island, there were actually people stranded on an island. That's how powerful television is. So I think that this is a cover up for something bigger.
That was powerful. That was powerful. That was powerful what I said there. Gilligan's Island. This is true because I read the truth behind Gilligan's Island. I mean, I'm even wanting the truth about 70s comedy. So Sherwood Shorts owned Gilligan's Island. I mean, he didn't write it, but he was producer. Sherwood Shorts did like Brady Bunch and a lot of those 70s shows. And the problem was back in the day when there's only 3 channels on television, like ABC, NBC, CBS, pre-Fox. Basically, the problem was people actually thought that there were 5 people stranded on an island. They honestly went into Sherwood Shorts' office. The Coast Guard went in there, dumped a bunch of envelopes. I mean, letters from people all over the country saying we have to save these people stuck on an island. Gilligan, Ginger, Marianne, the professor and Marianne. At least he changed it to that because it used to be and the rest. They left out the professor and Marianne. It's just 2 people. How do you leave them out? There's only like 6 people stranded on the island, and you leave out 2 of the characters because you can't fit them in the lyrics. The professor and Marianne. It even rhymed. But the first version of that song was and the rest. It's like Gilligan, the skipper to the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, and the rest. Like you had 2 more people. You couldn't fit 2 more people in to that song. Anyway, Bob Denver changed it and they added. Anyway, forgive me. I get a little emotional about the 70s, you know, when there used to be music before the sitcom. Okay, here we go.
So let's go down the road of forced vaccination. So if coronavirus is an opportunity for whether it's federal authorities, state authorities, whoever, to enforce forced vaccinations, to what end? How does that benefit? You know, is there something in the vaccines that we're concerned about? Obviously, the contact tracing scares the bejesus out of me because I don't need the government following me any more than they already do. But with respect to vaccines, how does that benefit? Let's say it, Orwellian political leaders to force these vaccinations in a mass capacity?
I would just.
You try to answer that question and not get banned and try to be like, I watched this back and I'm like, I don't know how I remained so eloquent, not emotional, and left it open to interpretation because I just continued the questioning. She gives me a question and instead of stating the answer, listen to this. It was how and why it got removed. There's just no reason because all I'm doing is questioning. I don't come up with anything that states I have a narrative. Here we go.
Just tell everybody to sorry, I'm just getting
Ooh, that was a bad
I would tell
face to
everybody
freeze on.
to please do your research, okay? Because I'm not going to tell you something. What do I know? You know, I'm a comedian, I'm a wildlife conservationist, I'm an actress, but what I see from the research I've done are patents that are labeled, funded by Bill Gates and Microsoft, labeled 060606. I mean, ID 2020, you look it up and it's literally, it's going to be a cashless society. We're going to have a quantum dot tattoo, which is basically, you know, some people might call it the mark of the beast. But if they don't want conspiracy theorists out there saying that, how about not label a patent 666?
If you don't want conspiracies out there, how about not labeling your patent, Bill Gates? 666. I'm sorry, 060606. Just don't label it that. And then, you know, we'll leave you alone. We won't question anything. Why you gotta label it that? Why have all the numbers in the world and you can pick any numbers to label a patent? You have to label it 666. Why? How do you not question that? How do you go on with your daily activities like that's normal?
Just a thought. But do your own research
Yeah.
on that. People need to be asking questions right now. And the whole vaccine thing, it's not that I'm against vaccines. I traveled the world.
Boom.
I had to take some
Yes.
vaccines before I went to Africa.
That's right.
But it's not the same vaccine. Sometimes it takes them years to find the right. And every year, there's a different strain of the flu. Why are they pushing vaccines so much right now? We got to get a vaccine for this. When the numbers are the same for people who die of the flu, and we still have a choice about that. So I think if they take away our freedom of choice, then, I mean, they're already trying to take away our freedom of speech. And George Orwell even said, liberty means nothing if we can't tell people what they don't want to hear. You know? And so everyone just needs, it doesn't take a lot of research to look this stuff up, guys. It really doesn't. And if more people can speak out and not be afraid of the almighty dollar and not be afraid of losing their job, then we might be able to stand up against this.
So we just got about a minute left. So I want.
I get what Anomaly was saying because I also, that interview, it's on brand new too, but had 500,000 views just on regular YouTube. They took it down in 24 hours. Why, YouTube? Why'd you take that down? What did I say in that amount of time that threatened the establishment so much? What was it that I said? Was it because I said, tune in to your intuition or ask questions or do research or follow the money? Why, YouTube, did you take that down? There's absolutely nothing in there that should have been given justification for taking a channel down that had years of work. I'm still going to sue. I'm still going to sue. I'm never giving that up. Never giving it up. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. Trust me on that. Hi, Linman. Roaming Robert, Ellen. Hi, y'all in the chat room. Just getting passionately participated in the play. I'm just saying, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the vaccine is the best thing in the entire world, and everyone should take it. Everyone, every single person on the planet.
Hell no. Come on. To the no, no, no. Yeah, to the no.
Bishop, it should be someone's choice. It should be your choice. That's all I'm saying. I'm not against anything. I'm not for anything. Boy, that's not true. I am for things. I'm for the freedom of information. I am for a person's intuition. I am for exploring questions and questioning everything, every single thing, even questioning me. You know what I mean? Unless that's too close to the truth. Does that scare you to get too close to the truth?
Okay. Hey, did you want my attention? Sorry, was being like this not close enough? Okay.
Love that. I love it. I love animals. I think they're the only way we can get through this reality. Is the animals that we have around us. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for them.
Find it kind of fun. In my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow.
Gonna be a dope photo, babe. You're looking hot.
Make sure it's a good angle this time, Nathan. Last photo you took, I look like a fat little bin chicken.
No, it's epic. The way the light's hitting you, babe. You look like a phoenix or some shit. Oh, watch out for the wave, babe.
Oh, shit.
Get over here. Come on. Get over here. Right here. What the hell did you do? No, this is your mess. No, you've already had enough. No more. No, bad boy. Bad boy.
Sorry, you guys didn't know I'd have Bill Gates on this live stream, did you?
Mother, I crave violence. Mother, Mother, I crave violence.
So, in case if you guys haven't seen this yet, I would like to share someone that is trying to come to America and has challenged the National Health NHS. I don't know. It's in Britain. National Health Society, National Health something NHS. Anyway, oh my God, I love it. I could watch it over. I could have it on loop constantly. Just somebody questioning the system. It's a turn on for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It is a huge, huge turn on for me. And because of that, I would like to share this. And it's also funny. I don't know why. It's also funny to me. Because this person, you might have known him. Is he Awake and Brave? Aaron Barry. He's calling the NHS. And the British people, when they communicate, are so polite. No matter what, they're polite. There's nobody in America that would ever give you the time of day if you did this. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. But this is, it's one for the books. It's honest to God, one for the books that, well, before that, let me just quick play a clip of the amazing propaganda that they put into it. I don't know if it's a Disney movie, because I started this video with Lion King. I thought I should keep with the same kind of feel, have like a streamline of the same information. So this is from the Lion King, but they re-edit it in order to get kids pumped about the vax. I then re-edited it.
Back to my prime. Well, I've never seen a vaccine made in quite so little time.
No, I'm not getting the vaccine,
Wait.
Hold on. Well, I've never seen
Let me start over.
vaccine and get back to my prime. Well, I've never seen a vaccine made in quite so little time.
No, I'm not getting the vaccine, Dr. Oz.
We're gonna plan insane events like we couldn't do before.
I was like, man, a lot of people were hoping that this product would allow them to be free, would allow them to drop the fear, would allow them to go back to public events and concerts. That's what a lot of people were hoping. Does getting the COVID-19 vaccine stop you from spreading it? Scientists don't know yet. Pfizer and Moderna are gathering more evidence about whether vaccinated people still spread the virus.
Once everybody gets their shots, the 20s, they will roar.
Face masks and social distancing measures are here to stay even after the vaccine. That's according to the top infectious disease expert in the U.S., Dr. Anthony Fauci.
I just can't wait for vaccines. Well, vaccines are completely unnatural.
10 million people and more have the flu vaccine. And how many people per year catch the flu? No, I'm not getting the vaccine, Dr. Oz. I'm not. I don't trust it.
No more need to stay home.
Everyone, whether vaccinated or not, continue to avoid medium and large size gatherings, as well as non-essential travel.
I did my own research. No more isolation. With the space.
Should continue to avoid medium and large size gatherings.
No more need for face masks.
Should continue to wear a well-fitted mask, physically distance.
I did my own research. No more isolation. With the space. No more need for face masks.
People who have been fully vaccinated should continue to wear masks and
with immunization.
and practice safe public health precautions, just like people who have not yet been vaccinated.
Free to socialize all day.
But our travel guidance currently has been unchanged.
No more COVID in our way.
Planning on getting your vaccine?
No.
No.
I'm not getting, no, I don't trust it. There, I said it. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the funniest shit I think one of the funniest things I've ever done. One of the best, most funny things I've ever done. I'm congratulating myself over and over again for how funny that is. Rachel, that's funny shit. It's funny. That's funny. Hi, Mario. Harley. I think that whole clip is underrated. I'll TikTok that shit. I'll put it on TikTok and it's gonna get 10,000 views tonight. You guys take me for granted how funny that was. just love that they put it to that song. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. I love this reality. Isn't this fun? Isn't this reality fun? Isn't this Truman Show kind of fun at the end of the day? Because you get to do something like this. Let's go. Here we go. Here's what happens when someone challenges the NHS. Ah, it's such a good moment. It's can't get enough of it. I just can't get enough of it. All right, here we go. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right. I forgot to do this. Sorry, you guys. You call me out every now and then. And Sunday morning. Oh, I guess Nancy got the COVID too, which I don't even know what to say about that. I just say morning, Sunday morning.
It's out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning, Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Good morning, Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take.
Not that it's gonna matter, but yes, hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. I mean, I'm not like holding out hope for my future on YouTube. Let's just be honest with that. Okay, let's call it like it is. Let's be real in a cartoon face. But you guys need to know, because this is strike 2. And if the third strike happens, the channel's gone. Everything's backed up, so fuck them. But I know I say this all the time. If you want to find me, I'm going to be on brand new tube. You're just going to have to find it there. And I'm hoping to do a show every single Monday, because I'm taking off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from my very successful Divine Detours. And Mondays are going to be my days dedicated to doing a live stream and getting stuff up with podcasts and interviewing people. And also want to do a dedication to Jordan Mex. Can't even say his name. Rhymes with Haxwell. Horton Haxwell. Because that's why I got strike number 2, you guys. I was doing a tiny dedication to Horton Haxwell. You know who I'm talking about. And instantly got a strike. You literally can't even say his name. Rest in peace. 85-year-old man bringing truth about esoteric knowledge his whole entire life, committed to that. And you can't even find out where his funeral is. There's no acknowledgement that he died. And what if I mention his name, I get a strike. It's just, we're in an upside down reality. And I do believe that justice will prevail. I do. I really do. The AA wants to see thumbs up, plus any kind of comments. Oh, well, for the AI, put your thumbs up. And YouTube, you can put your thumbs up your ass. How about that? Thumbs up your ass. That's how I feel. I'm sorry, that was mean. I don't mean that. I totally don't. This is how I really feel about YouTube.
Oh, really? Oh, Pebble. I think you don't care what I think, hey? Pebble. Pebble. You certainly do. Oh. But Pebble. I sure hope you're not like this tomorrow. I really. Pebble.
It makes me feel good when a parrot swears and I don't have to. Okay, so let's cut to somebody standing up for sovereignty, calling the NHS and asking for a vaccine exemption. Oh, it's so brilliant. I think after this, he can be my friend. But if you guys do this, you can be my friend. Can I be your friend?
Oh, I see you have a Keurig. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a hairstyle. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have compost. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a nickname. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a girlfriend. Can I be your friend? Oh, I see you have a schedule. Can I be your friend? I see you've had a rough day. Can I be your friend?
And just so you know, what's in the water, that documentary, which everyone should watch on Rumble and Brighteon. There's actually a longer version of it done by Patriot Street Fighter. I think that's his name. And I'd recommend watching that. I feel like anything I share about that and the snake venom in the water and all that stuff is just not going to be acceptable. It's already on Facebook. It says misinformation. I mean, we've just got to understand that. I can touch on it on a couple things that were fascinating about it, but understand that this is probably going to have to go on the brand new Tube channel on Monday morning. But here you go. I tell you what I love about this video that I'm about to show you. What I love about it is the authenticity, the moment by moment interaction of some dude who's obviously working for NHS, who's just so scripted. And it's very hard to understand the Brits when they talk really fast and they just if it's going to be an exemption, it's going to have to be a little bit. You won't have to. Anyway, I wish I had a translator. I will maybe stop it so you can understand what the guy on the phone is saying. But basically, Aaron is trying to come to America, and he's requesting an exemption, vaccine exemption, because there are religious exemptions. There are. I helped my friend get one. She's a nurse, and I helped her get an exemption. They exist. So they have to exist for travel if they exist for work. Okay? You have to be consistent in the lie. If they're going to lie to us, you got to be consistent. And if you can get an exemption for your job, you should be able to get one for travel. But no one questions it. They're just like, oh, I just can't do it because they say I can't. We can't do that anymore, guys. We have to grow a ball, like a ball, not even two, just a ball. Maybe a whisker on a ball. Grow something, anything. And just ask questions. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Here we go. A perfect example of somebody that grew a ball and questioned. And he's got the guy shaking in his boots. You can just hear the guy on the other end of the phone going, oh my gosh. Here we go. Now, this is just the conversation he had with the NHS. So YouTube, fuck off. You can't take this down because I don't care anymore. I'm just going to play it. It's not worth it. This is not worth it. This is worth it, though, watching what he says.
So I am phoning British Airways again to see if I can get to speak to the girl I spoke to before the weekend.
We have your email address and
in relation
number,
to
so we can keep you up to date.
Religious exemptions for getting into the United States.
You can add or update your contact details,
which it doesn't mention on Biden's proclamation in relation to travel into the USA. It mentions nothing about any exemptions. There's a few exceptions, but
that's interesting to me because if you look at, I like trying to get into the USA and you look at Biden's proclamation, it will talk about exceptions, but not exemptions. It's just one letter off. Exemptions, not exceptions. And I just realized I'm sharing his part 2. So I have to share part 1 before part 2 because part 1, 2 won't make sense. Here we go.
Call handler.
Hello, my name's Marcus. You are through to the NHS COVID Pass service. Can I start by taking your contact telephone number, please?
Yes, can you see my number on your system?
Let's have a look. Let me have a look. I just need to. I can. Let me just go. I need to just get off this screen. This is a separate screen. Let's have a look on there. Yep, I can see it. I can just add it in for you. So please confirm that you are calling to make an application for a medical exemption for your NHS COVID Pass.
Yes,
So if you can't understand that, he's like, so you're calling to make an application for your NHS exemption to come to America and to come to America with a medical exemption, a vaccination exemption. Is that correct? Is that correct? So he's literally just calling the NHS. I don't know what that would be here in America. We don't have NHS. I don't know what the equivalent would be. Someone in the chat room, if you know what the equivalent would be to NHS in America, I would love to call them and kind of do the same thing. But here we go. So great.
I am.
Okay, so just to confirm, so this is a medical exemption from vaccination and also potentially testing as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So I just need to ask you a couple of questions. So just let me get back to the screen that I was on. Okay, so are you making this application for yourself or on behalf of someone else?
Yes, for myself.
Okay, and has an application for medical exemption been made for yourself before?
No.
Okay, and are you registered with an English GP practice?
Yes.
Okay, so I just need to read you a quick statement here, so just bear with me. So are you aware that a medical exemption for your NHS COVID pass can only be applied for if you have medical reasons not to be vaccinated or tested for COVID-19? Your GP or clinician will apply their clinical judgment to consider whether there is a medical reason why you should not vaccinate or test, and whether you will therefore have a medical exemption. There are a small number of medical reasons why someone cannot get a vaccination or test, and therefore would be issued with a medical exemption. There is not an exhaustive set list of conditions to gain an exemption. Examples of potential exemptions from vaccination and testing could include individuals receiving end-of-life care, where vaccination is not in the individual's interests, those with learning disabilities, or autistic individuals who cannot be vaccinated with reasonable adjustments, those with a medical contraindication to all current vaccines, such as severe allergy, and those who had adverse reactions to their first dose. Time-limited exemptions will also be made for those with short-term medical conditions. Okay, so do you feel as though you would meet the criteria laid out there?
No.
Okay, so yeah, so you don't feel as though you would meet any of the criteria.
Oh my God, this is the best part. So he basically said you can be exempt if you have a learning disability, if you are autistic, if you have allergies. Like, he's giving him all these options. And I'm like, why didn't you just say yes to one of those? Be autistic. Most of us are. Just something. Just, you have a learning disability. He does. He's a horrible singer. So that's something. That's a learning disability. Can't learn how to read music. No, I'm kidding. Good. He plays the guitar great. Voices. He's working on it. Anyway, point is, he says no to all of this. No. He says no. He's like, so do you find yourself any of those? Do you have any of those? Do you have any of those exemptions? Is it any of those? Any of those exemptions do you think you have? Do you have any of those exemptions? Do you think you have any of those exemptions? He's like, no. Nope. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Listen to what he says he has. Oh, it's brilliant. Here we go. That's what he says he has.
It's laid out there.
No.
Okay, so yeah, so you don't feel as though you would meet any of the criteria.
My criteria is premised on lots of things that the government are not recognising. First and foremost, I'm an autonomous being and I respect my body, and under no circumstances am I allowing poisons to be injected in my body, trial so-called vaccines. They don't even meet the definition of vaccines. And there's so much information out there in the world today that the VAERS, Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, is becoming inundated with people dying and having all different sorts of adverse effects. I don't need my government to tell me where my exemptions lie. My exemptions, if there are any exemptions in me, remain with God. So I am seeking religious exemption, and I am also seeking exemptions under my mental disposition. And my mental disposition is that I have such a high level of IQ and intuition and knowledge about this world. There's no way on this planet am I going to allow my government or anybody else's to put those poisons in my body when people all around the world are dropping like flies because of it.
Okay, so it's a slightly tricky one because the exemption that we get here is basically medical exemption only, so obviously what you've mentioned there, so obviously ethical issues, moral issues, things like that.
But also there's a medical exemption because I am registered with my doctor as having mental issues. And so it could very well be attributed to my mental disposition. And so therefore, if you need to put something down on your forms, then do that. Exactly.
My medical exemption is that I have such a high IQ. High IQ. My IQ is so high, I'm realizing this is all fucking bullshit. That's my exemption. I'm sure the NHS is like, that guy's like, oh, right then. So, it's a bit of a more thing. It's I got played again. My IQ. Yeah, right. He's writing down nut job. Oh my God. He is tripping over his own words. That's so good. What's your exemption? My exemption is I have such a high IQ and it's such a standard of intuition that I know this is such bullshit. Oh my God. It's sexier to me than I think anything I've ever seen in my entire life. I gotta play it again. I'm playing it again. I don't fucking care. It doesn't matter. I have to play it again. Because I really don't think people are appreciating how brilliant this is.
About this world. There's no way on this planet am I going to allow my government or anybody else's to put those poisons in my body when people all around the world are dropping like flies because of it.
Okay, so it's a slightly tricky one because the exemption that we get here is basically medical exemption only, so obviously what you've mentioned there, so obviously ethical issues, moral issues, things like that.
But also there's a medical exemption because I am registered with my doctor as having mental issues. And so it could very well be attributed to my mental disposition. And so therefore, if you need to put something down on your forms, then do that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we'll do for you. Okay, so I just need to take some details from you. So can I take your first name, please?
Aaron, Aaron.
Can I take your surname, please, Aaron?
Berry.
And also need your date of birth, please.
9/10/63.
9/10/63. And can I take your postcode as well, please, Aaron?
LE19.
So the first question it asks me here is, do we know your NHS number? We don't, but we can.
I can get that very easily for you.
Yes, we got it there. Just type that in now. 480 238 780. And you say, and you details it are registered correctly with the GP, is that correct?
Yes. So are you struggling to find me then?
Basically, the first time we tried it didn't work. Let's try this now. So required. And then hand the form over to your GP. And once you've handed the form over to them, you don't need to do anything else. It's their responsibility to complete the rest of the application. And if the exemption is granted, then you should be notified and you should receive a letter in the post to give you the exemption.
Yes, well, the exemption, of course, it seems like it's dependent on the criteria which you.
Well, it's not exactly like I say. It's not an exhaustive set. It's just they're just sort of guidelines. It's not an exhaustive set list of conditions, really. So it's basically down to the judgment of the GP, basically.
So what he's saying in his stuttering, it's down to the general practitioner whether or not you are going to get this exemption, which I think he'll be able to get because Aaron, when he stands up for what he wants, usually gets it. Because they know it's a bunch of bullshit, and they start stuttering and they realize that they're getting called out. It's that simple. So when you actually challenge the system, you're calling them out, and you'll win. You'll win because you're the truth and they're the lie. It's not that difficult. It's really not. But I love the way the Brits do it because it makes me laugh. So let's continue and hear what he says.
Okay.
It's not any better. The things I read to you before, it's kind of like they're just guidelines, really. It's not an exhaustive set of stipulations.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know. And the thing is, if I get turned down, is there an arbitration or a governing body that I can appeal to for an appeal?
I would say the CCG, so the Clinical Commissioning Group. So that obviously each area has their own. Whereabouts are you based? Is it Leicester?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah. So Leicestershire NHS services have their own. I mean, I'll just type in for it. Let's just check for you now. So that each local area has their.
And could I request a confirmation that I have made this request to you today? Could you send me an email confirmation?
I can't afford. No, there's no confirmation of that. But like I say, you will receive the form within 5 working days. So all your details have gone through.
Right. So yeah. And I'll discuss all this with him, and he will have these numbers, no doubt.
Yeah. So if you have any issues, I would contact your local clinical commissioning group, and they'll take you from there. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No problem at all. You take care.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye now. Bye.
There is no giving up. There is no surrender. I'm operating under the sovereignty of my God consciousness, and I'm prepared to do battle in any realms under that belief system and knowledge of my very essence. Fuck their bullshit. Fuck their restrictions. Fuck them. To be continued.
Admiralty law, which is what Gordon Haxwell was talking about, and you know that, and you know that, and you know that, and we know that, and ooh, no confirmation, plausible deniability. Harley, that's the sexiest thing in the world that you know that. I'm gonna text him that tomorrow. No confirmation of what he recorded it all, but no confirmation, plausible deniability. Wow, that's amazing. How I didn't think of that. How did I not think of that? It's southern border for that guy. Well, I know we are talking about Mexico, him coming into Mexico, but the point is, there's it was very, very interesting. He called the airlines because it just is no way to get into America right now. Yet they're lifting all these restrictions. They're even going to be lifting the mask restrictions on British Airways in the next month and on all the airlines in the next month. They're just lifting it, right? And so, but yet you cannot travel from Europe to America without this thing that many people are refusing to get. And so to have a conversation with the airline is also, I think, a beautiful thing to do. No, it's just a ballsy thing to do. And most people don't do it. Let's be honest. Most people are not going to do it. They're not going to take the time. They're going to assume that they've taken authority and they have the authority and blah, 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 blah. So let's hear his conversation with the British Airways so you guys understand what we're up against, okay? Here we go. It's still brilliant. It's still brilliant. I mean, the fact that anybody does this, if you don't find this fascinating, you're definitely on the wrong channel. If you don't find this interesting, you are on the wrong channel. Go to another channel because this to me is the best thing. And we all need to be doing it. This is an example of what we need to be doing.
But for those with short-term
Oh, wait, that was the... But people don't. I don't understand why we don't. Why don't we question authority? Why is it such a bad thing to question the system. Why does this scare people? Why is this? What is it that people are so afraid of? Ultimately, why would you not question something when you really want to come to America? And that is a big deal to do that. You're not going to question. You're not going to question America. Or you're not going to question authority. You're not going to question anything. Here we go. Part 2.
Exemptions. Well, with just one bag.
You or anyone, myself, even into
Here we go.
the United States, I've searched high low. I've been on every website. I don't know if you've been looking still as well.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay, here we go. Part 2, questioning the airlines about getting into America. Because I put it out on my Facebook. I actually asked on Facebook. If they knew, hey, do you guys know a good chiropractor? I got 4 million people commenting. I had to stop the comments because it took up all my screen. I'm asking anybody come to America from Europe. Can you tell me how to do that without a vaccine? And I feel like they're hiding it. Not one. Come on. I have 5,000 friends and not one comment. Not even a comment like, I don't know, Rachel. That's just weird and creepy. It's creepy. It's creepy as fuck because I know that they're blocking that question. So here we go. And that's why I'm showing this, because we need to start asking questions. Just ask questions. That's it.
A member of our customer service team will be with you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and how long's it been now? Now it's 17 minutes. The British Airways, they don't even have, you are the 5th in the queue, you're the 3rd in the queue, you're the fucking 20th in the queue, or press fucking star so we call you back. British Airways, they don't have that.
Your contact details on ba.com/.
Even the fucking local doctors have
or
that.
ask the customer service agent to do this for you over the phone.
Even the local doctor.
Falling to pieces, people. Falling to pieces.
20 minutes he's waited on hold with this music. 20 minutes.
Fucking hooray.
Good morning, you two Laura at British Airways. How can I help you?
Ah, Laura. Well, just the person. I'm Aaron Berry. Hello.
Hello, hi, I can hear you. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I spoke to you on Friday. Oh,
hi there.
Yeah, in relation to the religious exemption.
Yes. I've been looking extensively. I can't find anything, unfortunately, that would allow you or anyone, myself, even into the United States. I've searched high low. I've been on every website. I don't know if you've been looking still as well.
Yes, I absolutely have.
I can't find anything. I wasn't here over the weekend, unfortunately, but I still did have a good look yesterday. I can't find anything. It's very, I don't know what else we can do.
No, yeah, I fully appreciate that because when they don't want you to do something, then they make it exceedingly difficult. Now, I was watching the video on YouTube yesterday, and there was this helping company basically explaining President Biden's proclamation. And in this video, it says that religious exemption is not being permitted. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as many other millions of people will be concerned, that's illegal because religious exemption is a thing. It does pertain to our autonomous human rights, and they can no way toss this out, particularly in view of the fact that the whole world now knows that the PCR tests are worth nothing. because they're so unreliable. So what I want to do, Laura, I want to take this further within the British Airways, and I want to go up to a supervisor or a supervisor, because I'm not letting this go. Within the British Airways law somewhere, they have to be recognising the law of the people. And so if you can help me with that, I'll very much appreciate that.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know who it is that we can really, I don't know if you can email or if you, I'm not really sure who it is that you'd like to speak to.
I think probably to start with the complaints department for, to eliminate all of the stuff about lost baggage and, uncomfortable flights and all. I want to eliminate all that. I want to get to the nitty gritty. So probably I need to go to, a higher position, whatever higher position you recommend, that this person has a question that it cannot be resolved by all my research. There's nothing written about it, but it absolutely has to be a thing. Now, I know throughout the whole of America, the police force, the fire department, the doctors, the nurses, they are all using religious exemption and battling through the courts and with employers, and so they're on the case. But it seems that Britain is in the dark ages in relation to this.
It would. I mean, it would be good if obviously if there was something like that in place, and then then we would obviously be able to travel into the States. It just seems that nothing's moved forward. It seems like this is the rule. If you're not under that umbrella, then you can't come in, sort of thing. But I don't know if it's sort of more what would need to be written to, like, say, the US Embassy or something, or because British Airways can't really control what their rules are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
You see, what they're actually doing is they are relying on all airways to police the world for them. It's typical American bullying. And what I gather is that once you get to the airport in the USA, you won't be asked for your COVID verification or your PCR test or anything like that. The PCR test is notoriously unreliable. The vaccines are very, very controversial across the whole world because they've been proven not to work. That otherwise you wouldn't need a fourth and a fifth and a sixth boost. They're on about boosters forever. It's not working.
Yeah.
And so, I've got to be in my bonnet about this because I was turned away from the States 2 years ago. And, we need more people like me who are prepared to fight these people. And so because British Airways is operating under American jurisdiction, well, that's not law. So I will maybe want to sue British Airways. I will take British Airways to court for unlawfully not allowing me to travel with them because of the draconian measures which are premised on lies and complete infallibility. Well, not infallibility. No, I mean, what's the word? Just that. Obviously, the vaccines don't work, and there's so much speak about the vaccines being all different sorts of things except a vaccine, and so they've got these severe draconian measures imposed on the whole world, and it's unlawful. And so that's what I want to fight. And so because it's British Airways that won't let me go, then I want to, hold British Airways accountable. Then so they look at the law. You see?
Yeah. I know. To be honest, like I say, I had I was booked to go into Miami in 2020. Obviously, that got cancelled, like I'd mentioned. But yeah, I haven't sort of been in a position, just personal reasons, moving house and things like that, to book back up and attempt to sort of go back to the States. But obviously this is something that you want to do. You want to travel freely, of course you do. There's so many other people that do as well.
Well, fucking YouTube. I'm going to call you out right now. Check this out. There's actually someone that's censoring me right now. So Alan Krebs, right here, Alan Krebs, he left a comment. He left a comment when I was talking about Watch the Water, the documentary that everyone should look up and watch, which won't be on Google, by the way. So he said, Hey, Rachel, check your animal email, which is rachel@loveyourwildlife.com. Let me just say that now if I'm gone from YouTube. Rachel@loveyourwildlife.com. And by the way, if I do another YouTube channel, it'll be under this. It'll be under this. These motherfuckers. I'm pissed. I'm pissed right now. This will be what it's under. That's going to be what it's under. But, yeah, that's my email. So I checked my email. Alan, Steve. Let me just share. I'm going to stop the screen for a second and let me just share because there are people leaving comments. I knew it was weird because I didn't see as many comments as I thought. Let me share this. I apologize, Alan. I did not block you. The fuckers at YouTube did for no reason. And they're going to be sued because look at this. Look, this is literally what they did not allow you to see. So I'm going to show it. I'm going to show it on the full screen. Full fucking screen. Here we go. So freaking pissed. There you go. This is what he commented. I didn't see that comment. And this was his comment. Thank you for sharing this, by the way. I said, Rachel, if they just search Stu Peters, Dr. Artist, that's all you guys got to do. You'll find the documentary, Watch the Water. They don't want them knowing about this thing. Yeah, that's the thing. If it's so not true, if it's so not true, right? If it's so not true, if none of this is true, like how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, someone's got this crazy conspiracy that it's snake venom in the water, blah, blah. If it's so not true, then why the hell are you blocking somebody? It would be like me saying, the dinosaurs are back and they're purple and they're everywhere. And then they would block that comment because, oh, it's not true. That's not true. Why are you so afraid of information that most people would seem to be absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? So Alan just said, all you have to do, and by the way, YouTube, let me fucking decide if I want to remove a comment. All he said was look up Stu Peters. I'm going to show it again. Let me fucking decide who I ban from commenting. This is not harassment. This is not misinformation. All he's saying is, if you want to know about it, just look up Stu Peters, Dr. Ardis, ARDIS. And they should find it. Yeah. They don't want you even researching. Even if you like, you can at least look up, is the earth flat or round? You can at least look it up. I'm not going to go into that, but I'm telling you, they not only blocked his comment, they blocked that comment. When they're blocking that comment, that means something's true, or you wouldn't be blocking it, YouTube. Powers that be who are watching me right now, you wouldn't be blocking it, all right? I ain't going away. I'm like the virus there is no vaccine for. So just be aware of that. God, it pisses me off. And I love that you screenshot it and you did all that. Good for you, Alan. Good for you. Okay, let me show again. He commented, which I never got a chance to see. Rachel, all they have to do is look up Stu Peters and Dr. Ardis, and they should find Watch the Water. They don't want them knowing about snake venom. Interesting, because I'm an animal person, and I could just be talking about snake venom because I did an episode about snakes. Okay? Brand new tube. Everybody go to brand new tube. That's where you're going to find me from now on. YouTube can suck it. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of giving into the system. I'm tired of actually allowing them to even have my beautiful magical self on here. I really am sick of it. And Alan his comment was censored. And he was just saying, look up Dr. Stu Peters and Dr. Ardis. It's too late, YouTube. The whole entire world is watching that documentary, Watch the Water. Okay? Everybody's watching it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, you're going to get scared? Yeah, you should be scared, motherfuckers, because the truth is coming out. That's why you should be scared, because the world is waking up, and you don't have a lot of time left. You really don't. You really don't. In fact, I'm going to say, I'm just going to put watch the water. Documentary. Yep. Please watch. You're not going to find it on Google, by the way. Unless they watch on Rumble. On Rumble. There you go. There you go. Oh my God. It's like, why don't we just move to China? Let's just move to China. We might as well. With this freaking. Anyway, peace and love. Peace and love and blessings. Let's go back. Peace and love and blessings. Let's up the vibration for a moment, shall we? Let's up the vibration. Because it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. I like the song Situational Control. 3, 2, 1, go.
Step 1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Hey, don't run from the Lord. Where are you going?
That's one of my favorite ones. Instantly, never not funny. Instantly, never not funny. It's never not funny. I will go head to head and argue with somebody if they think that is at any point that is not funny. I'll play that pig out. I'll play it out. Good pig. Okay, let's finish this because I love watching people challenge the system. I don't care who it is. Let's go. Roll it. Roll it. You better wake us up, y'all dumb as a box of rocks.
But yeah, I mean, we do have a complaints department. I don't know if you'd want to maybe raise it and see if anyone else has any other sort of information at all, maybe.
Is it someone I can speak with? Because going through the internet, they just send you around in circles. They don't want to address this. I absolutely need to speak with somebody.
So the customer relations team, they work by email. I mean, would have sort of supervisors and things on duty, every day to say, have a chat with you or take over the call sort of thing. But the customer relations team, I know they definitely work via email. So I don't know if you'd want to note the email down anyways.
Yes, please.
Okay, should I give you that now?
Yes, please. Okay? Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, so that is BA, so for British Airways, BA.
Yeah.
And then the word customer.
Yeah.
And then the word relations. So all together, lowercase, no spaces or anything.
Yeah.
BA customer relations, and that is at ba.com.
Okay, so that's pretty. Is the dot after BA? Yes, ba.com. Yeah. Okay, so what about a supervisor then that you could probably put me through just to sort of get a record started?
So, I mean, I'm not sure who's on today. I can call through and ask if anyone's available for you.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
If you'd want me to. So would you want to have a chat with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, because the whole of Europe's open now, and we're no longer, forcing passes on people. We're no longer, forcing people to quarantine.
Which I'm so glad about.
Yeah, for the time being, in any case. And so, I think probably the rest of the world is open like this, but for some reason, the United States doesn't want to open at this moment in time.
Yeah. No, I know, totally. Like I say, I wasn't here over the weekend. Even yesterday, though, I had actually asked a colleague to help me look into this. I know our government pages direct you to the US, what is it? Sorry, what was
CDC.
Was it again? Yes, on there. And it's got a list of exemptions, but it is all just sort of like, you know.
Yeah, I've looked through that tooth and
or
nail. I've looked through that tooth and nail. There are no exemptions, but there are a few exceptions. And of course, there's a large difference between the exception and the exemption. It doesn't mention anything about any exemptions, least of all religious exemption. But of course, in the United States, they are fabricating their COVID passes. That's all over YouTube because there's millions of people that, of course, aren't in agreement with it. They're not taking these poisons. And so I couldn't find anything in relation to that in the UK either. You know, I mean, 90% of the internet is American in any case, and so you're struggling to find any videos from British people, which is in itself curious.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, reading that, I would just assume, well, you know, I can't get into the States. It is. I know what you're saying. It's totally crazy, really, but. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's no sort of, you know, way around it.
Yeah,
I wish there was.
No avenue. But I mean, this is always the case. What I've found somewhere in the archives of the hidden files, there will be a law because all companies have to operate on law, and so. If I find that this is unlawful, and I think it is unlawful because it goes against our human rights, and particularly because British Airways are working for Britain, who already have, you know, thrown out all of these draconian measures, and so you shouldn't be imposing them on British subjects just because you know, America's got a different idea. Because at the end of the day, it pertains to my rights, our rights as citizens, and if British Airways is operating under something that isn't lawful, I want to find out. You know, and
so do you know anyone who's gone to the States and then like they've not been asked to show any like proof or pass, NHS pass or anything like that? Like, are they not asking? Did you say are they not asking for any of that?
No. Well, what I'm reading between the lines, the United States is putting the onus on everybody else to do their work for them. Yeah. So it seems to me that they are relying entirely on their bullying tactics, and so they don't want to burden the load on themselves, their end. So they're going to be assuming that everybody is following the criteria. And when you get to America,
you arrive in the States,
you're free.
It's, okay, you've already been checked. Yes. So go. See.
Now, you see, I have lots of medical issues, and, you know, I am currently consulting therapists and psychiatrists, and I'm registered with my doctors having, you know, certain things like this. And so there is no recognition for anybody who, even let's just say somebody that's got a heightened state of consciousness or intelligence, which knows that all this COVID is complete bullshit from the beginning to the end. And you can prove it to them. The people have wrote books, you know, 4 inches thick, and they've got videos and documentaries all over the internet contesting this because it's premised completely in lies, and the science isn't correct and anything like this. And so somewhere, you know, there's lots of people all over the world, they're taking governments to court and businesses to court, and I'm going to be a part of that. And you know, because I've been turned away from the land of the free on this second occasion, I'm sick of that now, and I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like I say, if you needed to speak with someone, I can see if anyone's available for you. But yeah, I wish for the same as you that we could just travel freely. But yeah, it's the laws at the moment. But I can see if anyone's available for you.
Yeah, we very much appreciate that. And you know, at the end of the day, how we get our freedoms is people like me. And this is how we got our freedoms in the UK, because too many people were out down in London, you know, hundreds of thousands of people out down in London campaigning against all this nonsense. And so Johnson had to backtrack, particularly in view of the fact that him and his mates were all partying, clinking champagne glasses and smoking cigars in the back of 10 Downing Street, if you remember, when we were in the heart of lockdown. Hypocrites, every one of them.
Yeah, I know, totally. So, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to get...
Just put me through.
So before I continue with this, I would just like YouTube, because I know you're watching. Obviously, you're watching. I had 1.9 million people on ABC every week, and I can't reach above 30 on my live streams. So let me just add this to the stream. I think you need to be reminded. I really, truly think that you need to be reminded that we don't stop. We really don't stop. We never, ever, ever stop. You can silence us. You can remove our channel. We'll show up just like a hole in a boat. You have a hole in a boat. You cover that hole. Another hole shows up, and it's even stronger and bigger. It's like a fountain, a fucking fountain. Let's just remind, though, full screen. Google's YouTube sued for $3 billion. I can't wait to take that money from you, YouTube. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, this is in 2020, and I know the lawyers, and we are putting together a case. YouTube sued for $3 billion in UK over use of children's data. That's beautiful, YouTube. Awesome, awesome. And they won, and they won, and they won, and they won. So it does happen. It does happen. Google's YouTube sued for $3 billion in UK, and they're going to be sued for more because they were also sued for. They were also sued. Let me say this in a bigger screen. They were also sued for not allowing protest videos. So something like this, like what I just showed you, that's a protest video. And they took down channels because they showed protest. Now, they were sued. The lawsuit won. I fought the law and I won. Okay? So something like this wasn't allowed before. We are 99%. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. Okay? It stays in my head, that song. They were sued, and the people who sued YouTube won, got a shitload of money. And now, if you'd like to present something like this, you can. And if they take down your channel, you sue them and you will win. And I have lawyers and I will sue. That's already done. It's already in the process. Already in the process. Because my channel has been taken down twice. I've gotten 2 strikes and they won't even tell me why. Anyway, keep singing.
We are 99%. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails and their evil cornfields. Blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. You just get your coronavirus on your arm. You just get your coronavirus on your arm. You just get your coronavirus. You don't get coronavirus. Get your coronavirus on your arm. Singing we are 99%. Singing we are 90. Together are 90. We are 99%.
Anyway, so all those people who are like, yeah, screw YouTube. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't see you guys on brand new tube. I don't see you guys following me on brand new tube because that's where we have to go until I get like a banned channel or whatever. It's going to be brand new tube. That's it. I've been saying this for a long time, but you know it's got to go there. We have to be the ones that break up before they break up with us. Go on brand new tube. Brand new tube. Not that hard to remember. Brand new, like brand new, tube.com. I removed my channel from that. And now I'm on there, but I'm going to have a huge opening. Didn't want to give it away, but May Day. So May Day, May 1st, is when my channel and my live streams are going to begin. Okay. So brandnewtube.com. You won't see me on here anymore. I'm going to be leaving them. They're not going to be striking me. I'm striking them. They get 3 strikes and they're out, right? You're out, brand new tube. I'm sorry, YouTube. Brand new tube's in, YouTube's out. God, now I'm confusing myself. All right, let's finish with Aaron Barry and his fight for sovereignty and coming to the U.S. Here we go.
To a supervisor, which probably would put me through to another supervisor, and I'll just take it like that, really, if I can, Laura. I'm very much appreciative of your time and you listening to me.
Oh, no worries. One moment there, is that okay?
Yeah, brilliant, thank you.
Thank you.
There has to be laws that protect the people. And I know in America, they're even rewriting the laws and not recognising, and they're doing anything they possibly can to impose their wishes and wills onto the whole world. See, it's not law. As far as British Airways is concerned, it isn't their law. America doesn't have any laws on authority over British Airways. It's just going to be a request. That's what it's going to be. And so I want British Airways to override their request, at least on my behalf. They don't have to give me any documentation. They just let me through. They just let me through. Because the chances are I'm not getting checked in the States. And if I do get checked in the States, well, they can't prove who let me through. And are they really going to bother? One person got through without his vaccination certificate. I'll just say, I've got it, but I've lost my fucking phone. It was on my phone. I lost my phone. It was stolen in the airport. Job done, innit? there's not going to be many people that are going to be approaching a British Airlines desk without being vaccinated. Pretty sure about that. And if I went down there, bought the ticket, and I got to the desk and said, "You've got your COVID pass," and I'd go, look, checking my pockets. Oh my God, my phone's gone. And they go away for 20 minutes, pretend to look for it. No, it's gone. And come back to the desk and plead with them that way. They're going, "Oh, all right then." I can't think they're going to be so draconian with this. There's got to be room for a bit of humanity in there some fucking way. But one thing's very encouraging. In the States, they're fabricating all these COVID passes. They're fabricating the PCR test and the natural flow test. And of course, there's always going to be a way around all this stuff. There's a way. There's always been a way in my life. And there's a way now. There's going to be a way. For those who are persistent enough, and you just don't stop. But I don't have a lot of time to fuck around with keep sending emails and waiting the day in between everyone. I'm looking at going the first week in May. So I've got 20 days. And the thing is about it, it doesn't say in Biden's proclamation that they're not recognizing religious exemption. Because if it said it, they'd be bound by law. That it's unlawful for them to say it, you see. Otherwise, they would have fucking said it. And because they haven't said it, then they can't be took to court on the premise of that. You see? You see, there's so many people just fall under the assumption. And if I went to the British Airways desk and I said, "I ain't got COVID, I ain't got a PCR test," the reason being is because you can go on any news channel all over the world and they'll tell you that they ain't reliable. And the vaccines are not...
Hi there, thanks for holding.
Hi.
Hello there. Okay, so sorry, I was just speaking with a supervisor there. They have said that so if you aren't following the rules for the country that you're travelling into, the British Airways definitely, they would not let you board, like we've obviously discussed. They would not let you board the aircraft because when you get to the States, we would have to sort of pay to bring you back when you're not allowed into the States. So they've only reiterated what I've already said, and they said that they wouldn't be able to advise you on anything that I haven't already said. But the best way that you can take this further is to contact customer relations. So it would be an email to customer relations. If you wanted to put Sean Doyle's name in there as well, that's obviously, who looks after British Airways. That's who really you would, probably want to escalate it to or speak
Yeah,
with.
it's for the attention of Sean Doyle. Is he the CEO or what is he?
Yeah.
It definitely is the CEO because I want to address it to the right person.
Yeah, so Sean Doyle, he takes care of British Airways, and if, like I say, if anything was to be escalated, then he would be like the highest point, I guess, of this.
Right.
But yeah, he is the CEO, and it would be customer relations that can escalate something to Sean Doyle, just to not sort of waste your time. I guess if you wanted to escalate this as high as you can go, obviously you do, understandably, then that would be the best route in all honesty.
Yeah. Okay, well, I very much appreciate you helping out with that, Laura. So I'll write Sean an email today with my quest. And
so if you could just address it even like to Sean Doyle and send it to the customer relations team, and then they would go from there. They would get back to you. You would receive an automatic response though straight away with an incident number, and that would be your incident number. So if you could sort of keep hold of that, that would be the incident opened for you. And then, someone would get back to you, okay?
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. You have a great day now.
I'm so sorry for that. Thank you, you too.
I'm fighting for you, by the way. And if you ever, if it ever turns out that they change the laws, it's probably because of me.
Oh, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye, bye.
I love that he says, yeah, I gotta turn this off.
Right, so here we go. Right, the email. See what the fuck's going down as well.
I love that he's saying, and I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for you. And she's not even laughing. I was fucking dying. He's like, I'm not fighting for you if I win. You're welcome. I would laugh my ass off. Okay, so wait. I'm going to see if I can bring Aaron on. But before that, I want to let you guys know that I went on Facebook and I'm trying to share it with you guys, and it doesn't come up because the question I asked about, does anybody know of a good chiropractor? And I get a million responses. So my question was this. This is so fascinating that it doesn't fucking show up, and kind of freaks me out. Okay. Because I can't find my post. So I'm just going to show it here. This is my post. Okay, my post was, they've hidden the post. They've hidden my post on Facebook. It says, has anyone traveled from the UK to America recently? And what are the, and what are the draconian measures as of late? Asking for a friend. Thanks. And look. Unbelievable. They've hid this post because I just went to my Facebook page to try to share it with you guys. They've hid it. And then I also said, he lives in the UK. Okay. One guy responded, and I forgot. I had a friend who's a jazz musician. We've been friends for a long time, and he's British. And his name is Chris Stranding. And he said, yes, I have, Rachel. Going into the UK is very different from coming back to the US. He says the test needs to be monitored, meaning if it's a home test, it needs to be videoed. This is what I was telling Aaron. You got to video it, which is not a big deal. Like, apparently my friend from England has gone to England and come back, and he's not a citizen of America. The test needs to be monitored, meaning it's a home test. And it needs to be videoed. The easiest thing to do is get a test in a million places and have them sign off on it. You probably have to download an app and all of the rabbit holes that presents blah, 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 blah. And then I said to him, I said, thanks, Chris, but he's not an American citizen. And he called British Airways. He just wants to come to America. He says he needs a passport, no visa-ness, return ticket, and COVID negative. All he needs is a COVID negative or a vaxxed with card to show. So either COVID negative or vaxxed. Not only vaxxed. You just need one or the other. So the woman that Aaron talked to was just talking to her supervisors, which are telling her bullshit. It's a lie. Because this is the guy that went to, not an American citizen, went to England, and all he needed was either a vaccine pass or a negative COVID pass. Then he just texted me this 2 seconds ago. 2 seconds ago. You'll also need to fill out an online form 48 hours before you depart to attest you are COVID free. The form is a breeze leaving the UK. Coming back into the UK, it's a pain in the neck. But he still did it. Didn't have to get the jab. So all of that she told him is a fucking lie. And you should call Laura, Aaron. You should call Laura and tell her that, because this is a guy who's British, I've known him for 5 years. I can't believe I didn't think of asking him. But anyway, let's yeah, you saw my post briefly on Facebook. Well, try to find it now. You will not be able to find my post on my page. It doesn't exist. Okay? I just happen to have him because I know him, and now he's going to be texting me personally. So, let's say Nuremberg 1945 will look like a nice trip to Disney before this is over. Yeah. So anyway, Aaron ended up writing the airlines an amazing email, which I'm going to quick share a second before I bring him on. Here we go. This is what the reason I'm sharing this is we all need to do this, because when we do this, we won't have to, because everything they're telling us is bullshit. Sean Doyle, I love that. Dear sir, I was given your name as a point of contact. Let me just make it bigger. That's what she said. I was given your name as a point of contact, recommended as the highest level and most likely the person to help me with my conundrum. My conundrum is thus: I'm wanting to travel to the USA. As an unvaccinated sovereign British subject with religious beliefs that do not permit me to allow. Hold on. Plug in my mic so it's a little bit better. My conundrum is thus: I'm wanting to travel to the USA as an unvaccinated sovereign British subject with religious beliefs that don't permit me to allow unapproved trial gene therapy substances. With an ever-increasing horrific track record, which is verified by the FDA and the CDC, which collated data on official VAERS website to enter my body. I'm very familiar with President Biden's latest proclamation on the CDC site that there's no mention of our God-given rights for freedom of choice in relation to what enters our bodies. Oh my God, this is such a great letter. Everyone should copy this and copy and paste. Copy and paste. Because you should send this to every single person that demands you get this for your job, every single person. With no mention of our God-given rights for freedom of choice in relation to what enters our bodies, nor is there mention of our God-given rights of free domain upon the earth. I therefore consider the restrictions on travel unlawful and want to contest that with British Airways, who appear to be acting unlawfully under the usual bullying tactics of good old land of the free USA. You will be aware that most of the world has lifted most restrictions in relation to COVID-19, and in particular the British Isles, because we now know that the so-called vaccines have been proven not only to be ineffective, but more importantly, outright dangerous to many millions of people, as per the VAERS reporting system, which is officially recognized by the CDC itself. And as of yesterday, has on their own reporting system 14,322 deaths that were reported of the vaccine. That is on the VAERS. That is not a conspiracy. That is on the data. The U.S. President current proclamation in relation to restrictions on entering the USA makes no mention that there is even such a thing as a religious exemption. So I consider the USA, as well as British Airways, to be acting unlawfully in restricting people from exercising their God-given rights of free passage body autonomy. Thank you, Jesus Christ. This is what we need to be doing. My courteous appeal to yourself, Mr. Doyle, is that you either allow me my exemption to travel to the USA under God's law, or furnish me with any relevant human law in relation to British Airways restricting persons' travel freedoms under these current USA-imposed draconian measures, which most of the rest of the world deem unnecessary. I feel very confident that if you would please look into the legal aspect of British Airways travel restrictions, as concerning the USA COVID-19 travel restrictions, you will discover that, in fact, there is such a thing as religious exemption, which protects the world's people against unlawful, draconian, unfounded restrictions of ill-informed governing bodies in this instant. Concerning President Biden, I also ask you to consider whose so-called laws British Airways are enforcing, while simultaneously being aware that those measures are deemed to be unnecessary and draconian by most other countries on the planet, in particular, Great Britain. Isn't that interesting? I thank you sincerely for giving me are giving my plea careful consideration, and I look forward to an amicable resolve on this matter. After all, Shawnee Shaunstein, Shawnee Doyle, the Doily, the Doyles, millions of the world's citizens cannot be wrong on this. Our God-given rights, as far as our beliefs are concerned, are as real, if not more real, than anything else that we care to consider to have validity as human beings. Not to mention admiralty law. P.S. Your earliest consideration to my request would be deeply appreciated, as I would like to travel to the U.S. in the first week of May. Might I add that almost 2 years ago, British Airways canceled my previous flight to the U.S. with only 24 hours notice, which naturally caused untold hardship. And since then, it has been my endeavor to enter the U.S. to see for the first time in 3 years the woman which I didn't read that part, am in love with. How many other world citizens are suffering under similar circumstances? It's inhumane and unfounded. Yours respectfully, Mr. Aaron Berry. That is a letter that most people should, if they had the balls to do, write. Yep. Yes. When all the deaths are counted and they say, I don't know. I didn't know. Now you can times the VAERS number by 100 because they only report 1%. Yes. So this is where we are at a standstill. We don't know what's going to happen next. And I was just about to say that. Could have been added to the letter. P.S. Nuremberg Code 1945, which is a code that does not permit experimentation on the human body without consent. Therefore, there can be nothing that will be mandated for any human being that's living under admiralty law. This is the law that we do live under and that we deserve. An amicable resolve could be hempatherapy, neck adjustment. We don't know what that is, but we can bring him on momentarily. And before I bring him on, because he's not behind the microphone now, I'm going to share with you. It's on YouTube, so it must be okay to share because it has not been taken down from YouTube yet. Another video that he shared with me about how reliable the test is. And then we'll bring on Mr. Aaron Berry and see what he has to say. How reliable is the PCR test? Check it out.
These numbers we see, they're based on the PCR test. Just how reliable is it? SARS-CoV-2, like many other viruses, contains genetic material called RNA. RNA fragments are so small, they're difficult to detect. The PCR test doubles the fragments in what are called cycle thresholds and keeps doubling them until they have enough genetic material to identify. Most labs go up to 38 or 40 cycles, which means an amplification of 1 trillion times. But is that too much amplification? Because while live virus is present in people who are actually sick, traces of dead virus are present in people who used to be sick, even months later, or in people who were exposed to a virus, but their body cleared it and they never got sick at all. They're not infectious. Genuinely sick people get a positive test in relatively few cycles because they have a high viral load. But the samples of people who are recovered or exposed have to be magnified billions of times to get a positive result. That's why scientists are recommending not testing over 30 cycle thresholds. So what would happen to case numbers if labs cut back to 30? At one New York lab, it resulted in a 63% case reduction. When a Massachusetts lab did the same, almost 90% of their cases disappeared. And that's not the only way that PCR tests can go wrong. They can also misidentify remnants from the other 6 human coronavirus types as SARS-CoV-2.
And in fact, if you're testing in a population that doesn't have very much COVID, you'll get false positives almost half the time. The person actually doesn't have COVID, they have something else, they may have nothing.
In 2007, PCR tests caused a pseudo-epidemic for whooping cough at a hospital in New Hampshire. 100% of the results were false positives.
Because if you can amplify one single molecule up to something that you can really measure, which PCR can do, then there's just very few molecules that you don't have at least one single one of them in your body.
This is a delicate test that's supposed to be done by highly skilled technicians in a sterile lab, yet it's currently being done on a massive, expedited scale with hastily trained technicians working on huge numbers of tests. So the next time you see case numbers, ask yourself how many of them aren't cases at all.
Wow. The fact that that was allowed on YouTube. It's interesting, isn't it? The things that are allowed and the things that aren't allowed. And I'm going to show my real face. Not as much fun, but okay. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aaron Berry. Welcome.
We are the 99%.
We are the 99%.
We are the 90.
Together we are mighty. We are the 99%.
Oh my God! I tell you what. Yeah, that Nuremberg clause would have been perfect at the bottom of that. But I thought, you know, I said quite a lot in it. And I just thought, well, I've given him the opportunity. If he actually wants to reply to me, he hasn't as yet, but he is the CEO of British Airways. So I'm not expecting him to, you know, make my case a priority. But I think it will be a flat. We operate under the US request. They are requesting for whatever reasons and whatever. You know, of course they're just gonna bend and comply. Why would they want to change everything just because of me? But anyway, I've got this other thing.
But they have to. I mean, when you write a letter like that, I think it's very powerful because number one, it's something that you have marked as paper trail. Paper trail.
Hello, Mario. Whoa.
Yeah, Mario says hi. Yeah. And paper trail basically means that you have written a letter and you have requested and also acknowledged your God-given sovereignty. And it's very powerful. And not many people take the time to write anybody anymore. And the letters are very powerful because
Well, you know,
they have to respond. They have to.
Yeah, like I said in that letter, it is a thing. Religious exemption is a thing. And if you've got a good enough lawyer, you will beat these fuckers with that because of, you know, the whole British law, which used to be American law, but it's rapidly changing. British law still recognizes it. So because it's British Airways, then I'm expecting them to give it more consideration than American Airlines would. They'd just toss it out straight away. But over and above that, then I have requested a form from the National Health Service, which I'm going to request varying exemptions because there's a certain leeway apparently. It isn't so black and white with the clauses. That representative of the National Health Service, if you remember in the video, said that it isn't conclusive, it wasn't exhaustive, and it's down to the discretion of your doctor. So I'm going to place my case like an arbitration before my doctor and see what measures I can extract from him. But of course, I can't hear you.
I don't think your microphone is plugged in.
Well,
I mean, it's echoey, so it sounds like when my microphone isn't plugged in, it's just a tiny difference. But I don't think it's actually because you have to pick the sound feature when you. It doesn't matter. We can still hear you, but it's just your microphone isn't connecting to the.
Right, it's on my system is all rigged up as it normally is, and so maybe I've got to tweak it, but you know, without boring everybody. Then as long as you can hear me, I suppose.
Yeah, I can hear you, but So
Is it
basically,
better now? Is it better now, or is it better now?
no. It's you literally. It's kind of like this. Like when I unplug this, look at the difference.
I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear. Can't hear you.
Your mic is like my mic is unplugged now, so you can hear the
Right.
difference. It's just literally unplugged. Your mic is just not connected.
Right. Okay. So it's not there. I don't need to have it in front of my face.
Yeah,
then.
it's fine. So you don't have to get closer or anything. But so No Way Thought says in Maine, the healthcare system fired 24% of the staff for not bowing down to their CAH. If 7.2 billion do not stand and fight, we'll all leave this earth. Yeah, we know that. That's kind of where someone says he sounds fine. Yeah, I know, but he has a good microphone, like a really good microphone. If when all the deaths are counted, they can't say I didn't know. Amicable resolve could be hemp therapy, chiropractic, or whatever. Oh yeah, the words are very important with what you say and what they say. Oh, and by the way, someone said, I think it was Alan or it was Harley. He said that when I showed the video where they said, you said, can we have record? Can you confirm that this conversation happened? And they said, oh, no, we can't. Like the first conversation you have with the guy who kept stuttering. And you're like, can you send me confirmation that this conversation actually happened?
Yeah.
Because they couldn't instantly. What did you say, Ellen? Instantly, it was a legal thing because they said on video that they could not confirm. And I can't remember what they said it was called, but I was like, oh my God, he just won the case. He just won the case because they could not confirm deniability. It was some kind of legal thing. It's going to take a second for it to show up. But anyway, it was a legal thing. I was like, oh, I got to take a screenshot of this because they told you they could not send confirmation of the conversation. You basically already won the case. Like
yeah, because their system isn't set up to do that. Their system is set up to extract the conversation from my end to use it as evidence against me and everybody else. But of course, they're not set up to honor our request. It's kind of like, fuck you, you're just the fucking citizens of the world. You know, we do what we want, and you know, that's the only thing we're set up to do. But you know, I record absolutely everything, all of these conversations, and so at some stage I might have a decent enough case.
You already do with what you've recorded. So just give us just a minute or two about you standing up to you walking into your doctor's office and they told you that you couldn't be there if you weren't wearing a mask because you were in a doctor's office.
Okay, so from the very beginning of COVID, I preempted that I would probably be requiring, to make my life a bit more simple, a mask exemption. And so I fabricated a scenario, i.e. that I had a childhood asphyxiation episode, which has traumatized me ever since, and I can't cover my face without getting anxiety. So I phoned up my doctor and I made sure that was on record. Now, I've been going down the doctor, and I don't go often. I go for blood tests and, you know, overall tests, this, that, and the other. I just seek out information and just use the facility because I only live over the road, basically. So I thought, well, I may as well now I'm here. And so I've been frequenting the doctors for, you know, the past 2 years. And let's say I've been in 10 times and I'd never been confronted about a mask. And curious enough, what actually happened on one occasion, I was standing behind the glass screen, you know, in a queue when another woman walked in, and she wasn't actually wearing a mask, and one of the girls, women behind the surgery bulletproof glass, flew at her and says, like, "You're not allowed in here without a mask. You know, you have to wear a mask at all times," and this, that, and the other. And there's two women there. One was sitting down, and one stood up and flew at her and verbalized her. And this woman in her defense was saying, "Well, you know, I have an exemption." "Well, you know, we're not recognizing the exemptions," and this, that, and the other. You know, and so they both looked at me, and I was standing there without wearing a mask, and I'm like, well, evidently I'm invisible. And so these rules, I've always, you know, considered that they don't apply to me. They don't apply to us if we don't comply to them, you know. And so I then approached the counter, and I said, "I've got an appointment with so-and-so, you know, at so-and-so o'clock." And she said, "Okay, would you like to go into the waiting room?" She never said nothing to me about not wearing a mask when she blew up at the woman just before. That's a very peculiar thing. That's an odd thing. Are you still there, Ra? You know, am I just filling in while you go to the toilet?
So it's so much better when I give you full screen and you're getting passionate about it. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that was one instance. And so I've been in on 10 occasions, and I've never had a problem at all. And I've seen lots of different receptionists. But on this particular occasion, then one of them said to me, "Do you have a mask?" And I said no. And she pushed a box of these nasty masks under the bottom of the glass screen. And I said, "I'm exempt." And she said, "Well, do you mind waiting outside?" I said, "Yes, I do mind waiting outside. I'm exempt from wearing a mask. I've come for an appointment, and I'm going to make it without wearing a fucking mask." And so I just walked into the waiting room and just ignored the bitch. And so anyway, 5 minutes later, the manager of the joint came out and courteously asked, "Aaron Berry, could I have a word, please?" And, you know, I followed him out the waiting room into the hall. And he said, "You know, we have a policy about wearing masks and this, that, and the other." And I said, "Well, you know, you also have a policy about exemption from what I can gather from the government, because they actually allow you to print off cards and wear the fuckers. And I've got one, and I told you, I've got it on record, that I am actually exempt for a child asphyxiation trauma." And he said, "Oh, let me check this." So he went away. He came back 10 minutes later, and he said, "We can't find any record of that on our system." And so I said, "Well, it was about such and such a month, you know, a couple of years ago." And he said, "Well, I'll look into that further." And I said, "Anyway, what jurisdiction are you operating under in relation to forcing me wearing a mask?" And he told me that I wasn't welcome, and I never would be unless I complied with a mask mandate. And so I said, "I want to see what you're working from." And so he went away again, and he printed 3 sheets on the computer, and it was the same 3 sheets which was on the government website. And so he highlighted the bit where it says that, you know, mask mandate is in operation here, and never made any mention of any exemption. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to take this away, I'm going to read it, and I'll get back to you." So I came back home, I went on the internet, and I read it from top to bottom thoroughly, and I saw that there was another piece on another page which stated that there was mask exemption. You see how this whole thing works? It's a psychological headfuck, because they are double speaking all the time to bamboozle you. So you can't make head or fucking tail of it. And then, you see, what they do, when there's a bit that says there is a mask mandate, they go, "There, you see," and everyone backs down. 99% people would back down because, "Oh, well, if the government said that, if the law said that." But I go, "No, it's bullshit." So I look further and further and further and further, and I read between the lines, and I find it that, you know, if you feel, and what it says, Rachel, it says, if you feel that you have a reason not to wear a mask, then that's all you need to be mask exempt. You don't need to tell a doctor, you don't need to tell a policeman, you don't need to tell any fucker why you consider that you are exempt, you see. And there's videos online actually speaking to the chief of police. Somebody's phoned up and said, "I want to know about this mask exemption. What's the deal?" Because I've heard that actually the police cannot even ask you why you're not wearing a mask. And he said, "Yes." He says, that's correct. So anyway, I wrote a 4.5-page email and I sent it to you. I think you read some of it, didn't you? And so the next day, the doctor's phoning me up, having had a consultation with the 4 other partners of that doctor's surgery. And he was on the phone to me for 1 whole hour, and he completely backtracked, and he's put a note now on the computer saying that I am exempt. So every time I go in there, people can see it. And so we can beat them. It's all doublespeak. It's all connivery. It's all bullshit.
Well, and it's also learning. It's taking a moment to learn the rules, right? So the first time I realized that, and No Way Salt says, John says the blank inserts are salt water. That is, it is blank. The real mRNA has a real printed insert full of stuff nobody can understand. I had a nurse show me one she got at work before she was fired for no jab. Yeah, but I mean, we've all seen the videos where you go to the pharmacist and you ask them to show what's in it. Because I look at my Raisin Bran this morning and I wanted to know what was in my cereal. Like, I'm looking at everything, and they have to say what's in it. And there's no piece of paper in the vax that you get. And this is not false information. This is not a conspiracy. When you go and get your jab or your booster, your 8th booster, whatever, because people will still do it, ask just to see what's in it. And the pharmacist has to show you, and he'll take it out and you'll see there's nothing on it. They won't show you. And they wanted to wait 75 years to show you. In any other drug you get, you will see a list of what's in it. You'll see the side effects. You'll see all that shit. They won't show it. If that right there, forget everything else we said. Forget everything else we said. If that doesn't tell you that that's fucking strange, right?
Yeah. And there it should be all over in a normal, rational, reasonable world. It should be all over on the premise of that. And yet, it isn't. And yet we've got, children dying. I was watching a video last night and it said 750 now recorded sports people passing out, and many of them dying through heart problems, on the fucking sports field.
By the way, that always happens. If people just, Rachel, because I saw a video of like TV hosts that are dropping over, and they're talking to the camera and they're just dropping over. And I've had people go, Rachel, they get nervous. Rachel, that's just a compilation. You just never had people put a compilation of people like all of a sudden getting a rash. Like if you had a bunch of people, everyone gets rashes. If you just had a bunch of people and you did a video of all of them, it would make it seem like it all happened this year. And I'm like, okay, that's plausible. That is plausible. If I just all of a sudden wanted to take videos of people having rashes and compilated it and made it seem like it was all this year. But it was this year, and there are sports athletes really healthy. The video that Max Egan was showing was over an hour and a half long. He couldn't even show the whole video. That's of all the sports athletes this year dropping dead in the middle of activity for all of a sudden these heart palpitations that never happened before. So again, I'm not saying it's about the vaccine. It's not about the vaccine. Just wouldn't you want to be curious and say, let's find out why this is happening? Because it is happening. It's real. It really is happening. So if it's not the vaccine, let's find out what it is. But nobody gives a shit. No one wants to talk about it. And if you do talk about it, you get banned. This is why I say, why in the world aren't people just this is why I feel like it is a simulation, because I have no other way to prove the reality we're living in, where people don't give fucks about any of this. They literally don't want to take the time to research or ask questions. You do. You write a letter. I'll have somebody write a letter. Someone writes a letter about a bad meal at a McDonald's on 4th and 10th in Utah and Yelp it. Not McDonald's, but any restaurant. But they'll take the time to do that, but they're not going to take the time to question what they're putting into their body.
Yeah. They're not taking the time to get together to present their government with objections to their lies and treachery. When you've got 25 million people apparently locked down in China, you go, well, I'm sorry, but well, you deserve it then. You fucking deserve it. Apparently they've not got food and they're all going insane, and how many of them need chemotherapy and all the operations, they're suffering, they're in pain, they're dying. You know how many hundreds of thousands have died because of lack of treatment and all this different sort of stuff. Well, there's this little thing that makes you have a cough, and it'll kill someone if they're 93 years old. No, nobody's dying from it. What they're dying from is remdesivir and midazolam. That's what they're fucking dying from, and ventilators. And so look, I mean, you know what I'm like with this, Rachel. I'm pretty, fierce, because I'm not all this gooey, oh, they're doing this to us and they're doing that to us. What are we fucking doing
Right.
to them?
And exactly, because the us and them, and it makes us victims, and it's like, oh, they did this. No, ultimately, I even said the other night, if you're not speaking out, if you're not doing something, if you're actually agreeing with me, but then being silent, you are actually worse. You're worse. You're
and
worse.
You fucking deserve it.
Worse. Then you deserve what you get. And I'm sorry. I have.
At the end of the day, Rachel, you know all these
way.
people, whether it's Jordan Maxwell, or whether it's Max Igan,
careful.
whether it's
The moment I said him, I got it straight.
At the end of the day, they're all saying, if not overtly, under the breath, well, you fucking deserve it then. And you do. And so that's it at the end of the day. But all you viewers watching now, if you ain't doing anything about this, then you are actually taking your children to be murdered. That is the fact of it, because at some stage they're coming for them without a shadow of a doubt. And if we get a little bit of respite here and now, all it is, it's like an army. It will come, it will make an advance, and then it will retreat, it will regroup, and it will come back another angle. That's all they're doing. And lots of people now are speaking about it's coming back later on in the year, because everything that happens in China happens in the West, a couple of 3 months later. So the whole
and nobody's talking about, no one's talking about Shanghai lockdown. No one's talking about that right now. Like it doesn't make the news. We're talking about there's a shooting in a subway, or we're talking about Ukraine and giving all the money to them. And there's Bruce Springsteen singing a song, and John Lennon's son, Julian Lennon, as of today, he swore he would never sing the song Imagine. He said that. I'll never sing my father's song Imagine. Guess what song he sang today dedicated to Ukraine?
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I
sure
saw it yesterday. Julian Lennon sings Imagine. Oh my God.
Getting paid a certain amount, where $10 billion was raised today for Ukraine. The Ukraine people, who, by the way, are going to Mexico, they're leaving the country, they're doing whatever they can. We don't know what's really, really happening there. I have a couple sources that are telling me. But the point is, if they're all broke and they're all leaving the country, but yet they have enough money to integrate the new digital currency system and the new social credit score system that has been trying to get implemented by the World Economic Forum, that they're going to blame on this war, it's already implemented in the Ukraine. So they had time to do that, even though everything's getting burned and people are dying and dead bodies in the street.
All the government buildings are blown up. There's hundreds of thousands of people being murdered, and yet it's all running very, very efficiently to get that across the whole of the nation. Oh, what a miracle! What a miracle!
They have the money and the time, and we're giving all the money to Ukraine now. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that now. I will house anybody coming from Ukraine. I got a couple bedrooms. You can stay here. 100%. I am about that. It will help anybody trying to escape there. But what I'm wondering about is all the money that's going there. I want to know exactly where it's going, who it's funding, because it doesn't seem to be helping a lot of people right now. And there's 10 billion as of today, 10 billion with, Julian Lennon singing that song, and Bruce Springsteen. Oh, and Oprah Winfrey, of course, dedicating a lot of her money to Ukraine.
Business. It's all going to big business.
100%. It's not helping any of the actual people. Is it housing any of those people? Is it helping any of those people that are escaping that country?
If all this money was going to the people, they wouldn't be begging for other nations to take them and to pay for people to do that. you know, to give them some sort of incentive. Look, it's absolutely absurd. It's scumbaggery at its highest level. It's always been here. It always will be here.
It's a
It's
repetition of what's already happened in the
going on
past.
about all this.
Right. We've
And the
already
latest thing,
talked
of
about
course,
this.
it is snake venom in the water, in the vaccines, but not only snake venom. Now, I was watching Mike Evans of Brighteon TV. Lots of you will know that. Stu Peters broke the Brian Ardis in relation. He did all this research over 4 months, and he's got paper after paper after paper after paper after paper with research with all the venoms from all many animals in all these pharmaceuticals. So if you've got a little bit of a palpitation, take some fucking snake venom. If you've got a little bit of anxiety, take some cone shell venom. You know, they can't get enough venom in you. You know, what the fuck?
And it's documented. So people go, because it does sound crazy. Like you and I were talking the other day, and I sent you a message, and I was like, "Are you ready for this? Snake venom in the water." I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then you research it, you follow the money, and you see you follow Gilead, right? Gilead is the company that actually funds remdesivir. Why is that even needed? And then they're literally removing any antiviral medication that has won awards from all over the world for killing viruses. So it's just, you follow the money. And then of course on Facebook now, because I shared the Watch the Water documentary, and boom, now it took them 24 hours. I can't believe it took them that long to say false information. Fact checker took it down, and I'm like, well, we're just going to sue you because you're false. Your fact checkers, Facebook, are verified as opinions, not actually fact checking. So you didn't check the facts because he brings the
can
facts.
almost be a fact checker, and all they do is, you see, the main two fact checkers were husband and wife that really took the limelight some time ago, and they just decided that they're going to do the fact checking, and they'd look on Google and they'd choose whatever they fucking wanted, and then they put that up as truth. And now what they're saying is that, you know, social media are the fact checkers, Facebook is the fact checker. Hang on, Facebook is fact checking the scientists now. Can you believe it? Social media are fact checking the whole world. Wow.
Yeah,
And
but
also,
however,
of course, most of you people will probably be aware that the CDC now is the new autonomous body on the planet. Whatever the CDC says goes over all countries. 194 countries, which is all the countries on the planet, have signed up and are now subservient to their jurisdiction. You can't ask yourself, Rachel, Iran's doing that, North Korea's doing that, Russia's doing that, Kazakhstan's doing that. You know, fucking Timbuktu's doing that. Well, what the fuck is going on here? Honestly.
The thing is, well, and the crazy thing is that I started out the live stream by sharing a little bit of Elon Musk, which I can't tell. I think he was the first person that got the brain chip with the brain interface because he is very AI. I can't tell if he's for us or against us. I really don't know what the bloke's going, but I know he does stand up a little bit to the powers that be, and he's the latest today is he's threatening Twitter to buy Twitter because he has that much money. And so he could actually give us back our freedom of speech because, you know, they've deplatformed me on Twitter. They Vernon Coleman, so many people on Twitter, they deplatformed. He got sick of it because he said something against them. They blocked Elon Musk and he was like, oh, hell no. Hell no. I got enough money to buy you. So he fought back by saying, okay, motherfuckers, I'll buy you out. And he put in an offer today to buy Twitter. Because
to buy it completely out, because I knew he bought shares of about 8 cents or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he said he has this many shares, but he's going to buy enough where he'll have control over what he can say on Twitter, because he was so pissed that they blocked what he said, like they did with Trump. They blocked the president.
He'll be dead in the month, then, won't he?
No, because he's the one that created Starlink, which is kind of part of the 5G. So it's very confusing. Like, is he actually part of the, I don't know if you want to call it controlled opposition or whatever, but it's very confusing because Elon Musk will say one thing one day, I haven't been vaccinated, I won't get vaccinated. And then the next day, he'll be all for the vaccination or this and that. It's very confusing. And now he wants to buy Twitter because they blocked his comment. And they said, well, if you buy a certain number of shares, you can own Twitter. You're just not allowed to say anything bad about the company. And then he said, well, then no, I can't be bought. No.
When we are assessing people in the world to try to find the rationale as to why people do what they do, what we always must bear in mind is that the individuals are flawed, and Trump was flawed, and Elon Musk is going to be flawed, and so just because they are doing a certain something, we can't ever consider that they're doing it for the good or for them. They're doing it for themselves because of their ego. They've got massive egos. They think, well, the richest man on the world, he's going to go, no cunt's telling me what to fucking say. And so, you know, he's doing it for that. But as far as other people having freedom of speech, he don't give a fuck. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe because it's 333. It's just 33 viewers on one network and 3, and then no, not even the time. It's 33 viewers on YouTube and then 3 on Facebook. It was just I'm seeing a lot of 333s all the time. But Musk is a wild card. We don't really know, but you're right. If his ego is damaged, he'll want to buy out the company. But there is still Starlink. He's still sending up rockets into the, into the skies to connect the 5G to take us to the next.
At the end of the day, Rachel, the thing is this, just like what David Icke says. He says, look, the only people that are going to do anything about this is you and me. If you and me ain't going to be doing anything about this, then the whole world is just, it's over. It's over as far as any semblance of autonomy for the human being goes. And when we buckle under this duress, this little bit of the duress that they're offering us, oh, you staying home because we're telling you to, really? Oh my God, because you're telling us to? Well, what if 2 million of us say, fuck you? What are they going to do? Nothing. They changed the policy. And what if 2 million of us get outside the House of Parliament and start throwing fucking eggs and tomatoes at the building and saying we ain't leaving until you fuckers have resigned? And we've got an idea of who we want to put in. The point is, at the end of the day, I'm always saying it. I've always been saying it. The human being, like David Icke says, get up off your fucking knees and stop being cowardice cunts. And if you want some sort of a decent future for your children, not you. You probably can't be bothered. You don't give a fuck about yourself. You just think, I'll be glad when I'm gone. But for your children, who they don't have a choice, if you can't stand up and fight for them, you're all cowardice fucking bastards. And you deserve to die. That's my opinion. Fucking hate me in the fucking comments. Come on, hate me, fucking hate me, motherfucker.
No, you're actually preaching to the choir. Like, everybody feels this way, so nobody's going to be upset. Maybe Facebook people will be like, "I'm not watching this," but like nobody actually disagrees at all. It's what everybody thinks and feels. It's just like I said. This will probably be my last live stream on YouTube, and I need to also go to a platform where, like you did, like you went to Odyssey and you said fuck YouTube, and I need to do that too, because the more that we give into this, and although it's easy and everyone can connect, and it's Rachel's going live, and so it's very familiar to us, and we don't want to change it because it's easy. And the moment I go live, it's awesome to see you guys, but I'm not going to compromise anymore. I won't. I'm going to brand new tube. That's where I'll be. This, they're going to take this down. They'd be stupid not to.
I see there's some brothers in the comments. I'm just reading them now. It's like, fuck Aaron Lowe. This guy rocks. Aaron, you're the man, brother. Keep the truth and you'll win. Yeah. It's great to have people that have got some support, because at the end of the day, we only got ourselves to blame if we don't do anything about this. And it's absolutely shocking. I like to think that the human race is slow in coming forward, because that's the only saving grace that they've got. Because if they come forward eventually, you go, well, for fuck's sake, what took you so long? You see, people like you and I, Rachel, and there's lots of us, the folk that have called the bullshit from the very, very beginning. Well, when we was doing it 2 years ago, at the very onset, we were going, where's all the intellectuals? Where's all these people with some clout on the world stage? Where are those motherfuckers? Where are they today? Where are they today?
And even Jim Carrey, who really started to wake up, because you and I both know he did DMT or something for research for because next time he's on the red carpet, he's talking about, you know, sacred geometry and formations and nothing means anything. And he's talking to that reporter and they're trying to make him look crazy when he's actually making the most sense when he's talking to that reporter and he's going, you know, this means nothing. You know, all of this is bullshit and we're just tiny microcosms of, you know, and I'm going, oh, dude.
Tetrahedrons.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going, dude did some DMT. Whatever it was, he woke up. But the thing is where is he? Where's Jenny McCarthy? Jenny McCarthy was against vaccines from the get-go. She was all about her kid getting autism, and she kind of made Jim Carrey sign up for that against vaccines thing. And guess where Jenny McCarthy is? Let me finish this. Listen to where Jenny McCarthy, who's a famous blonde, who was against vaccines. I want everybody to know where she is right now. I want you to see this because this is a huge, 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 huge thing. Where do you think this woman who stood up against vaccines because her kid was autistic, she was convinced
6 feet under?
No. Even better than that. Jenny McCarthy. Let's see if anyone knows where she is now. You know? Don't know? I will give you 10 more. I'll give you a couple seconds to try to figure out, because this is going to blow your fucking mind why she's not speaking out about her whole mission in life was speaking out about vaccines. That was all she did. That's all
Is
she
she
did.
in the nunnery? She's in the nunnery. Come on.
Close. No. I'll give you this. I'll give you 30 seconds to find out. Here we go. In chat room, you get 30 seconds. Where's Jenny McCarthy, who always spoke about vaccines because her kid was autistic, but then the vaccines come out, and where is she? I'll give you 30 seconds.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
All right, let's see if the chat room had any. No, she got back. Nope. Hiding in a rubber rehab. No. Oh my God, you guys really don't know. Wow. Jesus, King of Kings. He's the guy that got it. TV job with Donnie. Okay, so both of you guys are right with Donnie Wahlberg. TV job. So let's yeah, everyone thumb up. There's 32 watching, 34 thumbs up. That's weird. So, TV job, yes.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Would be use for / in this case. You want to use what's called the subjunctive form of the verb, to be /. The subjunctive tense is used to describe something that is desired / possible but is not certain. It's saying, the world would be better if everyone were nicer to each other, / or, I wish everyone were more patient waiting for the teacher ..
That was Alexa just went off like crazy. She literally just went off on something I said, and she went off on a diatribe. And it was
What
kind
the
of
fuck /?
Yeah, I think I was saying VAX, and then she heard something else. I bet someone says, I bet Aaron loves Alexa. No, not at all. They're being sarcastic. Okay, so here we go. This is where she is now. The woman that really had a mission in life is now Jenny McCarthy earns a spot in The Masked Singer. She's a judge on a TV show. Ironically, I make it up. Ironically, she's a judge on the most infamous TV show called The Masked Singer.
Oh my God.
But The Masked Singer came out before COVID. It was like right when COVID was coming out, it was getting popular. Ironically.
You guys are forgetting that we've got someone on this
That's her.
show who's got multiple Oscar nominations. I was thinking like a Luke or Owen
That's her.
Wilson, but I
Oh.
don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God. What happened? What's happening? I know. Take the buzzer out. 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 I know who it is.
Be careful. These are some big stakes here because if you are right, the caterpillar must unmask immediately and get sent home. The audience is saying, do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
This is why America's in such a state.
No. Sit down, Jenny.
No, you're too young.
No, Jenny. No, Jenny. No.
This is why America's in such a state.
No.
The point of the whole show is it's called the look at this shit. Look at the fucking symbolism. The point of the show is Masked Singer is you don't know who's singing because they're masked, but their outfits are everything but every symbology you can imagine. And the judges have to figure out who's singing because it's usually a famous person. And so the Masked Singer is them coming out dressed like this and that. And so Jenny McCarthy, ironically, they picked her as one of the judges. So she gets this huge contract with ABC or CBS from the Masked Singer, a woman that was speaking out against vaccines. Now they give a huge contract to, so she will never speak out. And that's probably in the contract because she can't speak out against vaccines now. But my God, she's making $1 million on a show ironically called Masked.
Okay, so here's the thing without all that and that Jim Carrey thing and everybody else. I mean, it's the oldest parable in the world. You know, Goethe wrote Faust in the late 1700s, early 1800s, that sort of period, and it was about this old geezer one day being visited by Mephistopheles, the devil, and the devil offered him 9 years of.
Wait, and what are you talking about? What are you talking about now?
I'm talking about why all these people do this. Why there's nobody speaking out hardly ever in Hollywood because they will get cancelled. They will lose absolutely everything, and the money to them is more important than their own sovereignty and their own soul, saving their own spirit. You know, because they don't have any connection with the spirit.
But it
So
wasn't. She was already,
do.
Aaron, she was already famous. She was making millions. Her kid was autistic. She was convinced it was because of the vaccines he had before COVID even existed. She was against it. They were literally, her and Jim Carrey, they were doing, like, they were petitioning, they were walking the streets, and I'm thinking, what's the powers that be going to do? They know what's coming up, so they're going to hire her. They'll hire her $1 million to be the judge on something ironically called The Masked Singer. Because when I was on Twitter and I had millions of views, I outed her. I said, hey, at Jenny McCarthy, what do you think of the latest vaccine? Because you're against the vaccines, Jenny McCarthy. At Jenny McCarthy. Like, you've got to, I'm on ABC, you're on ABC, let's talk. Mano a mano. I'm a blonde, you're a blonde. I'm a host, you're a host. Bring it, Jenny McCarthy, let's talk. Let's at least acknowledge the fact that you sold your fucking soul and your kid is suffering. And you're the one that spoke out about autism, against vaccine because of your kid. And now you're selling, you literally sold your soul to be a judge on the Masked Singer. It couldn't be more evil.
More, you know, damning for you know for her soul, for the whole of humanity. When you look at this stuff, I mean, look, just to have that show, and all those people in the audience, not to mention the millions that are tuning in because they've got nothing they'd rather be doing instead of that. Well, fuck me, the world is over. The world is fucking over. If people would rather listen and watch that shit rather than educate themselves or fucking go out in nature or just have a fucking chat and a glass of wine like my dinner with Andre, if they'd rather do that than all the whole myriad of things which is healthy and fucking useful to them, well, fuck me. They deserve what they're getting. And that's it. Look, this is what the powers that be have decided, Rachel. They've decided that America is firmly seated and entrenched in its own decadence, and it's time for it to fucking burn. I'm sorry for you American people, but America's over. It's fucking done now.
Well, it's not like the UK's not over, and your little orange-headed prime minister and the fucking Vatican that owns the world, and the serpent that the Vatican is actually shaped.
They're all over. They're all over. It's just certain degrees. But, you know, of course, America, you know, had to fall first because it was the worst.
Rome,
and, you know, it was the most powerful. And so that's what it's been. It's been that for 100 years, you know, with the School of Frankfurt and the postmodernist and the communist and all that. They've been infiltrating. You know, J. Edgar Hoover's government was infiltrated by communists, and that's well known, you know, within certain circles. But this is the whole thing. It's to bring them down. And now the American has been undermined because they don't premise their currency on any fucking thing. Russia's now premised it back again on gold. So they've took the market. They've took the whole fucking market now. They've got oil, they've got the gas, they've got the wheat, they've got the resources. And now what they've done is they've undermined the America's gold price by fucking $200 a gram.
Well, yeah, and that's bringing the whole, like I said, there's cryptocurrency and there's also Bitcoin and NFTs, which I haven't even covered, but you know, the NFTs and, you know, basically it's groupthink deciding on what's important and what's not. And cryptocurrency, in a way, I feel like it does threaten the world banking system because cryptocurrency does bring a little sovereignty to people going, oh yeah, this is worth value. This is worth value. But ultimately the coin, the dollar is crashing and they're bringing in digital currency in Ukraine of all places so that they can decide if you, it's a perfect example, Aaron, when I rented a car last weekend, you know what happened when I rented a car last weekend.
Or are you keeping that mask there for
I just did that. I did it at the same time. I rented a car last weekend and what happens? It was a newer car and, I literally just didn't use it for a day because I couldn't return it till Monday. And I was doing 2 tours. So I had to have more vehicles, right? And so it was a newer car. It was kind of cool. It had like a big screen and it drove smoothly and all that. But then I park it in my driveway and I'm not using it the next day. And so I'm ready to return it on Monday. And what happens? It doesn't start. And I thought, oh man, I left the light on. I must have left the light on. So I called the Hertz rent-a-car and all this. And it turns out I didn't leave the light on. These are the new cars. The new cars are actually when the guy came to charge the battery from AAA that Hertz paid for, he said, oh no, this is how I make my living now. He goes, I actually make a great living now. I said, what do you mean? He said, I call it lot rot. We all call it lot rot. If it's sitting in the parking lot and it's a new car, it will rot, meaning if it's a computer. The whole thing is run by a computer and the computer is always being drained. So if you don't unplug,
the battery goes flat in the car.
The battery goes flat because even if you're not using it, it's draining the battery all the time. And so if someone goes on vacation, I say, well, what happens if someone goes on vacation? And he says, well, what happens is that it just goes dead and we come and charge it. And I said, how is this improving our life? The fact that he goes, well, they just need to know to unplug the computer in their engine. You unplug the computer in the engine of your car. If you go on a trip for 3 days of a car that you're not using, or it'll go dead. How is this helping us? Well, you know how it's helping. The big system will be connected to that computer and you don't pay your rent. You don't do something. You buy the wrong thing. They unplug you, motherfucker. They are literally going to get rid of anything. And they're going to blame it on climate change. And I realized like this was my first experience going, holy shit, it's happening right in front of me. It's happening. So I recorded him saying it.
Such a rapid rate.
Such a rapid rate.
From so many fronts, it's happening.
And the
then
car
so
thing
much of
really
it
freaked me out because
is
I messaged you and you're like, well, you must have left something on, Rachel. You might, and I said, Aaron, you are living in the dark ages. I'm living in the dark ages. I just talked to the guy that came to plug my car or to charge my car, and he said, oh, this happens all the time with these new cars. And he said, more and more cars will never ever. They're all going to be connected to a computer, and that computer will be drained. And the person that owns the connection to your car can decide if you are going to drive or not by just clicking a
Yeah,
button.
turning it off on the main computer. And also, you know, what
That's it.
they are scheduled to do, when you drive them through the day, they're going to be putting extra charge in the battery. Then when you get home at night, you use that energy to energize your home. You're going to use the whole energy from that car. And so therefore, you're only ever going to have, you know, a certain amount before you got to get back in the car again and go and charge it up for several more hours. And so it's going to be a limited amount that you can take from, you know, 24-volt battery.
And they will
so-
say, because they will limit your amount, and they will say, and look how you're giving back because it's climate change. You're saving the planet because of this. Aren't you a good steward of humanity? Because if you use too much, we're for the greater good, we're going to unplug you, Aaron. We're going to unplug your car, and we won't make it work for the greater good of humanity. Don't think it's for anything else but climate change. We will help you help the world. Disguised, it's all disguised. It's bullshit. And I'm watching it happen. I'm literally watching it happen. And renting that car really, really brought it to the reality in my life of, yeah, Rachel, this isn't a conspiracy. It isn't just fun shit. This is actually happening. And guess what? Hertz did not even want to acknowledge it. They're like, "Oh, we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it. Don't talk about it. Don't blog about it. Don't mention it." They literally said that when I dropped off the car.
They told you not to blog about it.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna share this. I've had a horrible experience. You didn't give me the car you promised. But they're like, just don't blog about it. You know what? We'll pay for it. Like they literally were kissing my ass, saying, "Whatever you
Did
want."
they charge
we'll
you
do.
for the rental at all?
Nothing.
No. Mm.
Yeah, because I said I was gonna blog about it. They
Okay.
do not
So-
want this information out there.
Do you want to ask your audience to see if they know, anybody knows how I'm going to get into the States then? Because there's so many people saying so many different things. But, you know, what we really want is we want someone who has been to the States from the UK very, very recently and, you know, who is not vaxxed. We want to know what exactly
Well,
the situation is.
I showed you. I mean, I could call Chris right now. Or it's 1:30 a.m. He's asleep, but I know Chris already said. He already told me. I showed you what he said, and I will call him tomorrow, and he'll say the same thing. And it's exactly what I told you my friend
Well,
Melody
look,
did.
what he says was in that, from what I remember, he
Yeah.
says it's easy to get into the States, but it's hard to get into the UK.
No,
How
it
is
just
it
means you
fucking
have
hard?
to actually take a test and video it like my friend did. He goes, it's just a lot harder because you got to go through those loopholes. It's
Yeah,
not
well,
impossible.
we don't need any vax. We don't need any
He's not vaxxed. He ain't vaxxed.
quarantining. We don't need to wear a mask, and
Nope.
so in America you've got all that stuff. So I can't see how, you know, all that is just is you know, it's just an illusion. So I'm going to go to the airport and I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to have a fucking test. I'm not going to be vaxxed, and it's all bollocks. You know, is this?
Well,
what the
it
fuck
is all
we're doing?
bollocks because he even told me the same thing I told you Melody said. It says on the Biden thing that you need it, but you don't because it's illegal. So he told
Yeah.
me the same thing. He's not an American citizen. He is from England and he goes to England once a year. So he literally said, Rachel, this is what you have to do. It's a pain in the ass, but this is what Melody had to do. She calls this company. They send her the test. They have her information now forever that she had a test. They Zoom. They watch her do the thing, which she didn't, you know, she did, you know, she did
Yeah.
it in the nose. Then they watched to see if it was negative. And then when it was, she got to go because they put it in the computer that she was fine. That's what
But
he said you have to do.
on the Biden's proclamation,
Yeah.
it says that if
Doesn't
there
matter.
are Rachel, if there are American citizens who are unvaxxed, then they need to have a current negative thing. right? So they can travel outside of the country if they're unvaxxed, but nobody from the rest of the world can get into America if they're unvaxxed. So that's the
It's not
difference,
true
I think.
because he got in and he said it's a lie. He messaged me. He said that's not
Well,
true.
is
Whatever
he a
you read
citizen?
is not
Is he a
true.
citizen?
He's not an American citizen. No.
Okay, so I wonder if you can ask him. It confirmed that whether he's an American citizen or not,
He's
whether
not.
he's got a business which is deemed to be important. Let's try and get the bottom of it. Ask all these questions to say
I
what
know.
the fuck
I
is going
know
on.
him very well. He's not a citizen, but he does play music, and that's I don't know if that's considered super important, but he's not a legal citizen. And so he does have to go back and to update his visa and all that. And he says all that is bullshit. Just like Melody said, going to Hawaii, it's all fucking bullshit. Don't look at what they say and don't listen to what they tell you. It's
Yeah.
all bullshit.
Well, of course,
All you
I
have
mean,
to
I'm
do
an
is show
advocate.
them, show them the
I'm
negative
an
test,
advocate of
and
that,
you're
but the
done.
difficulty is like what I've said to you. You know, to spend £750 or something like that as a gamble and risk. You know, at the airport, getting some fucking automaton who just has never heard of anybody not being vaxxed getting on. Because they're all so programmed, they're not all going to be aware that it's all bollocks. They're absolutely not. You're gonna have to fight it. You're gonna have to fucking come up with something.
Right, but now now there's two people, and now he is. I can put you on the phone with him tomorrow, and then he can tell you absolutely everything, the process he went through, how he went through it, and then how many people do you need to talk to before you go, okay, I'm going to do it. Like how many people?
I
do you
need
to
one to touch on all the points that
And he'll
are
do
so
that with you.
emphasized on the Biden proclamation.
Yeah.
Because if I lived nearer London, I live 100 miles away, and to go down there, it's kind of like a fucking 7 hours round trip. And there's no even guarantee that I'm going to be able to get in the airport with these idiots, because unless you've got a ticket, there's no reason why they're going to let you in. And they've got cunts there with armed fucking machine guns. And so if you can't provide your passport before you go in, then maybe you're not going to get in. So there's all this different sorts of shit going down.
Yeah, there is. But I'll put you on the phone
with
with him. Yeah, I'll put you on the phone with him, and he'll tell you how to do it because he did it. And now we have someone that did it. That's not a citizen that did it. So we got what we wanted, because what they did on Facebook is they hid it, and he actually saw it before they hid it. Because now you can't find that question on Facebook, but you can find, hey, do you guys have a good chiropractor? I got 8,000 comments. And then I say, does anyone know how to get back to the States from England? 0 comments, and it's hidden. So fuck you, YouTube. We found the key. We found someone that did. So you fuck off. You figured it out. Done and done. It's just it's unbelievable how, oh my God. But there are enough people that are waking up. There are enough people that we can do this, and people are commenting going, yes, I get it. And I've been there and blah, blah, blah. It's just, it does kind of feel like us against them, us against the powers that be. But we are the truth. They're the lies. So the thing is that I said every single time that you confronted authority, you win. Every single time you have won. Every time.
And so
why would that change?
The next one is that I'm going to go to my doctor and I'm going to fill in this form, and I'm going to take certain documents down, like I'm going to take the Nuremberg Code, and I'm going to take the VAERS thing, a print off of the VAERS, and say, look, this is why I ain't going, because it's a trial vaccine, because all these people are fucking dying, because the Nuremberg trial, which is supposed to be the law, the whole world is operating under now, is being stamped all over.
We were supposed to have learned the lesson from all these years ago.
Yeah,
that's why it exists.
And so, if it is at all possible that he can use his discretion and he doesn't have to follow a few lines on the computer, then I can say, look, as a reasonable person, I'm your patient. You've been my doctor for many years, and you must know that I have a point here. And even if you aren't familiar with this stuff, then if you took like 20 minutes, then you could get this stuff verified, and you can see that the vaccine is fucking trial and there's no fucking insert in it. Doctor, please, come on. Why isn't there any insert in this poison? Doesn't that say it all?
This is what I would love to see someone questioned on, because I have shown although it will get banned on YouTube, but it's out there. This guy that just goes from pharmacy to pharmacy to pharmacy, and he literally says, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting the vaccine, but I got some questions. Can you just show me what's in it?" And then he asks them, and this is what I'm asking you guys to do. I'm going to do it to my pharmacy. I'm going to say, "Okay, I'm ready to get the shot. Can you guys just take it out and just show me the pamphlet of what the reactions are?" Because, even whatever drug I get
I
from the
have a few
pharmacy,
allergies and I'm a little bit concerned.
yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. And so, can you just show me? Can you just take the thing out and show me? Just take the thing out. Take the pamphlet out from the vaccine and show me what's in it. That's all I'm asking you to do. This is the
Instead of
question.
picking up a piece of A4
Yes.
paper with a few fucking bits written on it, which they give people.
Yeah, right. Just show me what it is. And so the pharmacist will then go, "Oh yeah, sure." If they haven't, if they don't know yet, they'll take it out and they'll see it's blank. It's fucking blank. It's blank. They won't show you what's in it. They won't show you what's in it. So then
But
when you
then we
question
have
that,
that leaked document, which was 9 pages long, with all the listings of adverse effects. There must have been thousands of them on there.
thousands of them, that stuff I've never even heard of. But then when I shared that, which by the way got my TikTok removed, when I shared that, and I said, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just sharing it. It's just like I'm sharing it. This hat might not be black. I'm just telling you it looks black, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. I'm just sharing a document. Could be true. Might not be. And I got removed from TikTok because of that, showing that 9 pages of adverse reactions that the VAERS reported. And then someone said I wasn't reading it right.
Is there anywhere that you can print that off? Do you know if it still exists somewhere?
Oh, yeah, I have it on my computer. I can send it to you in a PDF.
Yeah, please.
For sure. And it's a 38-page document, 9 pages of adverse reactions, but it's a 38-page document, a PDF file I put on my computer instantly so that they couldn't remove it from all
What
of
about the
humanity.
Nuremberg trial? Have you got that then as well?
The Nuremberg Code. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. I mean, that you can still download that, but like to print that up, when's your appointment with your doctor?
I've not got one yet.
Oh, wow.
I've got to fill in the form. Form's coming in the next couple of days.
Did they? Oh, that's from the NHS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once you get that, you go. I mean, it's going to be so easy. It's going to be so much easier than you think because everything has been easy. Everything you've done so far, other than that woman who's like, I've checked all the authorities.
Yeah, just don't accept what they say. Just present yourself as an autonomous being,
who you are,
which is outside of their bullshit jurisdiction, and then that's your ticket through. And so yeah,
I've shown you this. But this is it. That they took this down, but you saw this. This is.
Ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio was really bad.
The audio was bad. It sounded fine to me.
I could hear it.
It wasn't enough for Carrie just to be silenced. He had to be discredited too.
I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization
This is in Las Vegas.
I rest my case.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm sorry, what?
Good Morning America is brought to you by Pfizer. CBS Health Watch, sponsored by Pfizer.
If you don't know what sponsored means, that means they pay for the content. Therefore, you must say exactly what they tell you to say. I know because I was on TV, and a show that I was on for 5 years was sponsored by a certain company. So I had to say exactly what they told me to say.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer. CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer.
What?
Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer. This week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report.
I think our case is settled. I think we have enough information where people can see on a now 3-hour live stream. You can't fast forward through it or it doesn't get banned. I think people can now understand if you don't get it now, you'll never get it. And you don't comply, you question authority. I've questioned authority since I was 14 years old, questioning the school board why we couldn't wear jeans, why we had a dress code. Why I questioned everything since I can remember. So why would I stop now?
Yeah, here's the thing. When I was 9 years old and my brother was 11, we went to this new school in our village, a junior school, and the code was that you wore a uniform, and it was a grey shirt and grey shorts. Well, my old man wasn't about to go buy no fucking grey shirt and shorts. He was too fucking busy, living his life, and so he sent us in jeans. And so they sent us back that morning. So the old man got in his car, took us back to school and said, don't get sending my kids back again, okay? They're here, they've got jeans on, that's the way it's going to fucking stay. 2 weeks later, the whole fucking rules changed in the school. They banned school uniform. All you need to do is just plant a little bit of a fucking seed.
Well, and I did the same thing. So we had this stupid, and I felt bad because there was a lot of kids that went to, the school that I went to that had no money. And if you can't wear jeans, it's like, then you have to wear, expensive clothes. Jeans, you can keep wearing jeans and a different shirt. And so I was really for the kids that just like, they couldn't afford that. So I went to school one day and I wasn't wearing jeans. You couldn't wear a skirt either, but I wore those MC Hammer pants, and like where the crotch literally went down to like here.
Wow.
And so definitely wasn't sexy. But when I walked past each room, like I'm in the hallway and I'd walk past the room, and there's a tiny, tiny little window where people could look into the hallway. And I would just do this. Like when I walk past, I do this with my pants. And it's not illegal. It wasn't against the rules. And I got called to the principal's office, of course, like I always did. And everyone's like, ooh, I went to the principal's office. And I was like, oh, what did I do now? And he demanded that I go home, which was like 3 blocks away. And I changed my clothes. I said, why? What did I do? What did I do wrong? And he said, well, you weren't wearing jeans, but your outfit drew too much attention to you.
Oh, wow. Not allowed to draw attention
to you. So that is when my dad, oh my God. And my dad, like, he's on the school board. And my dad's like the head surgeon of the fucking country, man. My dad's got some balls. So you told my daughter that she can't. Oh, he walked in there. And then before anyone had recording devices, he had this little, because he's a doctor and he's got to make memos. He's got that and he's recording what they say. My dad walked in there and said, how dare you? She didn't disobey any rules. She was wearing pants that was not against. He stood up for me every single time, and they cowered. And then they changed the rules.
Yeah. So we all need to bear that in mind, because it's the whole Wizard of Oz scenario. Dorothy gets to see the booming ogre of what the whole land was afraid of, and all he was a little old man with a megaphone, and that's all there. They're just little old
The
men
Wizard
with
of Oz, right?
megaphones
Yeah.
and a lot of
They're
money.
just
And if we just don't buy into their bullshit, if we just say no, and if we just take our autonomy back and just start to think a little bit for ourselves, is there a way out of this? Do I have to comply with this? What if I don't comply with it? What's going to happen? Here's the thing. There was a policy in the UK during the COVID whereby the police said, we're going to issue £100 fine for anyone that's not wearing a mask. So you've got the TV crew standing outside one train, and there's a couple of coppers there, and someone gets off without wearing a mask, and then they write them a ticket. And that went across the country nationwide. Everyone's terrified, and all of a sudden it scared them back in. It's two coppers with one camera. And that's how they control the whole fucking world. If people thought about it and thought, well, what's the chance of coppers being at every single station and every single train? It's not feasible, is it? So obviously, it can't work. But also, the thing is, what it turns out, they were threatening them with £1,000 fine. But it very quickly turned out, a couple of months later, that nobody, absolutely nobody in the whole country was forced to pay if they didn't go willingly and throw their money at them.
You
Because they
actually
couldn't enforce it because it was unlawful.
It was unlawful. So if you've ever been fined or they threaten you of a fine, you do not have to pay that fine. And that proves, and it has outed so much of the law that I think people are now going, oh, so this doesn't really mean something. And now you understand how important your signature is. Never, ever, 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 ever sign your signature on anything, because that is what is worth the millions and millions of dollars that you are, as an entity on this planet, worth. Your sovereignty and that signature is what they need and what they want. And so don't ever do that. And rules that you think are rules are not. And do you remember when I stood up, Aaron, in Vegas, and that became like a thing, and I got escorted to my room? Remember I told you about how I got escorted by the men in blue to my room? Because there was one person in line, saw me, wanted my autograph. Oh, I recognize her from the TV show. And they wanted my autograph. I said, I'm not going to sign anything if you're wearing a mask, because I won't. So they took their mask off to sign. So and I was like, all right, cool. I won't take a picture with anyone with a mask on because I don't believe in it and I won't do it. So they all took their mask off, took a picture. And that's when the men in blue at the Venetian started gathering around. And then I couldn't get my luggage. And then it took about an hour and a half. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. And I'm looking over here. And I see a man in blue, man in blue, man in blue. Not cops, because the cops wouldn't get involved.
Yeah, the bigger the
cops couldn't get involved because it wasn't a legal issue. But if they started to, this is interesting, because I had people in my car from Vegas who told me this. They purposely had people dressed in blue. In the Venetian, they used to wear red coats. And this is in Vegas. They started dressing them in blue to intimidate people who would not wear the mask. And that was me. Okay. So all I was doing is waiting in line for my luggage. I wouldn't wear the mask because I'm not manned. I'm not lawfully. And I drowned in Costa Rica and I got breathing issues. So I'm not going to do it. And all of a sudden, they wouldn't give me my luggage. There was people, and it was like 2 hours later.
So was this in the airport then?
No, this is in the Venetian, the Hotel the Venetian. One of the.
So why do you have to wait for your luggage? Surely you just take your luggage yourself.
Well, there was a huge line for luggage because just lots of people there that weekend and lots of people waiting in line just to check in. And so as I'm waiting in line to check in, usually I was like, oh, I'm just going to go for a drink. I'll come back and there won't be a line. Still a line, and everybody masked up, and they don't have to be. It's not a rule. I mean, it's not a law. So I was just telling people you don't have to. I'm not. And then the person that wanted my autograph, I said it out loud, and I brought attention because they were getting the picture taken with me from ABC. Okay. And I said out loud,
example to the sheeple, and it might start to spread, and that will be terrifying.
Terrifying, and there's cameras everywhere. So the men in blue held my luggage longer than they should have. I checked in, and I was like, I don't know where my luggage is. They held it. I walked out. Someone else recognized me, got another picture. I told them again about the mask. And now they're like, all right, we're escorting her to her room. So they grabbed my luggage. And I have this on video, by the way. I have it on video because I knew I'd be able to sue them one day. And I recorded it. They escorted me to my room and they wouldn't tell me why. Now, this is intimidation, actually. This is intimidation because they're not telling me why. I did nothing wrong. And I kind of felt like J-Lo. I put my shades on and I got a fucking escort to my room. I looked really cool. I had like 3 men and 2 women in blue escorting me, carrying my luggage for me. I'm like, oh, I'm the shit. Here we go. Cool. Then we get in the elevator and it shuts. And I'm like, so what's this about? And they said nothing. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I have my iPad and I'm recording all of it. So the guys were fine. The chick was like, what are you recording? You're recording me. I go, yeah, you're damn right I'm recording you. Because what the fuck are you doing? What is this? That you're bringing me to my room like I'm getting punished? What's happening? And she's like, you're not allowed to record me. I'm like, I do whatever the fuck I want. I'm recording you right now. So all this, we get to my room. I invite them in. I'm like, you guys are obviously coming in because you're bringing my luggage in. And then I had another camera that was already recording in my room. So I have all this footage, right? They escort me into the room and I say, what did I do? And they have footage too. But I say, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? And they said, no, but you're warned. You are now on a list. You are now warned for, I said, I didn't do disruptive behavior. I did nothing that other than someone taking a picture of me because I'm on a TV show, which I'd love to report what you guys are doing right now. This would be a great story. I got it all. And they left and they're like, just know, you do not ever mention anything about mask again and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, this is good information for me to have. Thank you. I was only kind. They left. Now, it's what, 4 or 5 months later? I got 2 people in my car. I spend all day with them. She works at one of the high-end hotels. And she said, Rachel, the Venetian is dealing with a huge lawsuit for over $1 million. And I explained what happened to me, the same story I told you. And she said it was way less and they won. She goes, I'm off record going to tell you, write them a letter, like the head of the Venetian. Tell them you have footage, which you do. And let's just say you probably have a guest suite in the Venetian for the rest of your life. Well, because now, because now the mask mandate's gone. The people are back in red. There's no blue coats anymore. There's no intimidation anymore. And they already got sued by 2 other people before me. I'm like, holy shit, I have the footage. I have more than they sued. And I'd be very happy to sue the Venetian for what they did to me because it was intimidation. And it was literally, if I wasn't the woman I am and didn't like want to kind of make it into a comedy, I would have been terrified. Absolutely terrified.
You can actually use things that you got on record without, saying it, personal stuff. You can use that personal record to reiterate the intimidation level and how you felt threatened and all these sorts of things. And these days, the courts are really making preference for this because it's that's the tool they're using. It's for your safety and for your, so you don't need to be intimidating this, that, and the other. And so
every lawsuit is winning. So I will sue YouTube and I will win for the same exact thing right now. Rachel, 40 thumbs up, but only 38 people watching. YouTube math. Same deal. Yeah. I'm suing YouTube. I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to happen. It's just the time of YouTube. Like right now, it's not, but we will win because I have the footage. I'm recording everything and I recorded it with the Venetian and I can't wait. The letter that you wrote inspired me to write the Venetian because not only that, it got confirmation from 2 people in my car who were both worked at hotels, very fancy hotels, and told me the inside scoop of what's really happening now in Vegas and how many of the hotels are getting sued and every lawsuit is winning. Every single lawsuit is winning. That's why you're going to be able to come to America easily.
Yeah. I mean, they'll probably offer you a free weekend stay.
I'm going to demand way more than that. I was psychologically abused. I was intimidated.
Yeah, but look at the elimination process. I think the elimination process would be they're not going to be afraid of anybody unless there's a lawyer which represents some level of seriousness. Because if people are prepared to pay for a lawyer, and it's the professional body who knows what they're doing, then they're probably going to be taking them a lot more serious than just.
But you also know that lawyers are part of the system, as we know, the fictional world, and the ones that have won so far the lawsuit, taken them to court via their own discriminatory behavior and knowing their God-given rights and rules, and have won. Or when I say won, I mean they didn't go to court, they got paid off. And I'm not going to get paid off with a weekend. I'm going to get paid off with a lot more than that because I got footage and I was put under stress, traumatic stress actually. And I did nothing but sign someone's autograph, and it's going to go down. And because what's happening is it's the pages are turning. I don't know how long it will last, but the mask thing is lifting. People are going, oh man, okay, we don't have to. And all right. And
Well, I just heard on Brighteon.tv, Mike Adams, who is American and everything, that the airlines now and lots of other places are now imposing the mandates again. They're building it up, and they're starting to vamp it up here in the UK with the cases and I'm
hearing the cases too. I'm hearing that on the BBC. Yep, I heard it tonight.
So British Airways announced on their site that they are no longer imposing the mask mandate, but they highly or strongly recommend that everybody still does wear a mask.
Yeah.
And so, what they're doing
lifting
is
it
put the mandate down because it's not lawful, but they still have the propaganda and the fear mongering there. And of course, in unison then with the publication of the cases, and what they're saying now is the hospitals have got, several thousand in them, and they've got these new strains and more propaganda. And so David Icke, his latest video, which I just watched this morning, he's saying people don't think this is going away. They're coming back strong, and they're coming back big time. And so it's now the time to nip this in the bud and stop complying with it. It's
100%.
the same people telling you this bullshit now that they were telling you 2 fucking years ago.
Yep.
Are people still listening to it? Are they still going to go, oh, there's more cases? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Well, I will tell you my daily conversations with people across the country where no one would talk about it before. And it was just even a company I wanted to work for, they're like, you're not allowed to talk about this. You have to sign something that says, I'm like, oh, fuck you. You think I'm ever going to work for somebody where I'm not allowed to talk about shit? No, I don't bring it up ever. I never bring it up because I want people to enjoy each other and love each other, and then find out that they're actually on the opposite sides, and then get like, oh, I would have thought you were this. But ultimately, more and more conversations are happening in my vehicle where I swear to God, Aaron, almost every day, none of them buy into it anymore. And a year ago, it was like maybe 8% didn't. And now it's like 70%. I'm picking people up and they're the ones talking about it with me. And I'm going, oh my God. I'm talking from New Orleans to even New York to even people from California.
All this
They're
information
seeing through the bullshit.
has to filter down, because you and I and lots of your viewers and my viewers, well, we were already well down the rabbit hole. We've been down the rabbit hole, a good 8 or 10 years in any case. So we're kind of like, it's like a fox. A fox goes on his run, and it very quickly comes to know the places where it's going to find a few morsels, like this back of a restaurant here, or, this fucking place here, there, and everywhere where someone puts out cat food, and he goes and has the cat food, So they've got these runs, and so what we're doing, we know how to look for all the little places to get these nuggets, and so then we pass them. So very, very quickly, our little fraternity, we are on the ball with all this stuff, aren't we? And so slowly that's filtering down now, and a little bit more is making a presence on the social medias, Twitters and Facebook. But then when it's getting banned and removed, that's then sparking more people's interest, and so then they'll be aware of other channels where it's not being removed, and so more and more people are going to be moving over
because they're seeing the blockade. They're seeing,
it is all these channels like Brighteon and Odyssey and Rumble and video, band video,
Yep.
they're all much more professional because they've had more traffic, they've got more money, and
Yep.
they're bigging up their game. And so that's very, very encouraging to know. And I think that, you know, well, particularly in my instance, you know, because of what we knew, you know, we can kind of like, you know, have the assumption that more people should know it and do know it, but they don't. And the point is, when you've got like people like Jordan Peterson, for instance, all of a sudden now, because it affected him, because, you know, he was being fucked around with the mask and the test and everything, and then it started to come to his attention, hang on, none of this seems right. It's all conflictory information. So they start to look into it, and then tentatively they start to say. And so, you know, that this, I mean, let's hope that this little wave or trickle turns into a tsunami. And if it is going to turn into a tsunami, then we'll find out at the end of this year when they try to do it again. And we ain't standing for your bollocks, Mr. Bill Gates.
We've
any
enough,
fucking
yeah,
more.
enough people have seen,
And
done
the
the
next
research.
one, next one is going to get their attention.
Yeah, that island next one will get the attention. And that's when his wife leaves him and goes, "I'm just you're just grossing me
Yeah,
out in
I'm
general.
fucking
Like,
done with
ew,
you, you
I'm
fucking
done."
dumb
But
man.
the point is, now they always give us the summer window. So now is the time for you to do what you're doing, for you to come over here to prove that the work you're doing, the emails you're writing, the conversations you're having really does work, because ultimately the intimidation, like I was intimidated to be fired from my job several times when I worked for ABC, and it never ever happened because I called them out on their shit. I called them out and I said, I'm doing it anyway. And no one stopped me. Nobody stopped me from speaking up about a lion that was killed by a guy with a tiny penis who was a dentist who was trophy hunting. Nobody stopped me. They threatened that I would lose my job, just like they're threatening everybody. They won't do it. They won't do it. They can't, because they can be sued. Just like we could sue YouTube, just like we could sue these corporations. They don't think you ever will, but I will. You will. We've proven that we will. Not many people will, because they've got other shit to do and they've got like their needs to be met. But I give no fucks anymore. I'm doing it. That's why I wanted to create a job where I was the boss. So I'm the only one that can fire me. And I'm on probation right now. But I'm going to hire myself back, and it's going to be fine, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to survive in this reality. Because there's no way I'm going to be able to work for anyone, because they're going to end up sucking up to the powers that be and go, well, you should not say this, or don't talk about this. No,
well, yeah, I
not
mean,
in my reality.
once they've got their way, they will terrorize absolutely every fucker. And you see, this is the whole hypothesis, what people are saying now about the police force. They're doing this vaccine thing with the fire department, with the police force and the doctors and the nurses and all that. And the ones that are succumbing to it and complying, they're the ones that are going to be told what to do for the rest of their lives. The ones that are questioning it and going, I'm not sure, they're firing all those. So what they're doing is they're getting all these services which are complete and utter yes men. So the great divide is there. The great divide is already there. And so we can see that these people in these institutions, well, I love my job. And, well, do you love your country? Do you love your freedom? Do you love your children? That's the question I'm asking you, motherfuckers. Love your fucking job.
Who is your God? It comes down to this. If you want to get biblical, all the Christians are like, oh, I love Jesus, I love God. Who is your God? Because if you are serving your job over God, you can't serve two masters. It's right there in the Bible. And now you have to apply this stuff that you memorized as a kid, that you learned in Bible camp. You have to apply it, because you can't serve two masters. It's God or the vaccine.
Yeah, if we say then, if nobody's particularly religious, let's just say your God is your conscience. When you're going to work, knowing that what you're doing is fucking wrong,
it goes
then
against
you
your
should
soul.
listen to your God. You should get in line with your God. Fuck the job. You know, lots of people who, you know, take that leap, or all the professionals that we know, they go, well, you know, it's only a fucking job. And now I'm doing something completely different. I didn't think I'd call. I thought it was all over, but it's not. And now loads of people are calling me for interviews, and, you know, the sponsorships coming in and all this sort of thing. All we've got to do is take a giant leap of faith. And when we come back with our own sovereignty, that's the most powerful force in this dimension. And they know that as well. That's why they're terrified the fuck out of our sovereignty. And so once we get in touch with it, then we are king, and we will wear that fucking crown, and we'll beat them hands down. And so,
You know what? I think ultimately you say that, but they'll probably win.
Nope.
They might win.
Nope.
Maybe they'll win.
No. Nope.
There's a chance they'll win.
Nope. No.
They might.
Hell no. Come on. To the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no.
I think maybe we'll probably get silence eventually.
To the no. To the no. To the no. To the no. Hell to the no. To the no. No. Hell to the no.
All right. Had to say
Well,
that. We
no.
got to end it. It's 3.5 hours. It's 3:33 actually. It's the perfect time to end it.
So what we do know is that there's a whole lot of stuff going on. The world is a very uncertain place. And so what we have to do now is just come back to our sovereignty. At all costs, come back to our sovereignty and just say, no.
I mean,
And
either
then we may be in with a chance. But if we do not do that, we don't stand a fucking chance.
nothing. You being silent is complying, and you don't comply. And if you don't want to say no, if you want to say yes, ask a question. Just call and go, I have a question. 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 And that's it. Just ask a question.
Yeah. And so
If you're not allowed to ask a question, then that's it.
So picture this: all over the world, the people that are in prominent positions, good and bad, are quite aged. If we look at the realms of David Icke, he's 70 now. When we look at Alex Jones, he's 50 odd plus, getting off at 60. Schwab and Gates,
They're all gonna die, so we
60.
better fucking do it.
20 years time, 10 years time, most of them are going to be gone on both sides. So there's going to be creeping in a new era, a new epoch, a new paradigm in any case. And so someone from somewhere below, not even recognized today, these are the people that all of a sudden are going to be taking the helm and the reins and going to be leading, people in a new direction. And so, we're in tumultuous times. It's all a bit, topsy-turvy at this moment in time. But as long as our conscience lies with our God, then we will go to our grave knowing that we did the best we could, and let's hope that all your viewers and my viewers are doing the same.
100%. That was a good way. Peace. And wait, I think this is also good advice.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Get vaccinated. Fuck yourself.
I love that.
That's one of my favorite clips. One of my favorite clips. And you can't deny this.
Mobilize true international effort to pressure.
What?
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
They're all leaders. They're all fucking leaders.
They're our leaders. That's our leader. It doesn't matter. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not any of that. I'm a hot dog.
Bam.
I'm a hot dog.
Bam.
I'm a hot dog.
Bam.
I'm a hot dog. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a hot dog. I'm a hot dog. I'm a hot dog. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a hot dog.
Bam.
I'm a hot dog.
And what you see will be. A dream. And what you see will be.
Never ending Fauci.
Yeah. Never ending story. And then at the end of the day, it's all a dream. It's all about consciousness.
Yeah.
And so Even if those people who are too scared to do anything, change your thoughts and project the thoughts onto the universe, out into the ether, that we are going to beat them. They are going to crumble, because the whole thing here is all mind in any case. It's all mind. It's all consciousness. And so let's use our powers collectively.
Boom! Drop the mic, motherfucker.
Boom, boom.
Mwah!
So have a great day. Talk to you sometime throughout your day.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
And last but not least, bringing out with my favorite ever, the Father and the Son. Mwah. Speak soon. Here we go.
Spirit, lead me when my thirst is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior.
Out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, and oceans deep. My faith will stand.
Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may go last years around, you never failed, and you won't stop now.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me. Spirit, lead me. Spirit, lead me. Take me deeper. Take me deeper. Take me deeper into you.
Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for my twin flame for showing up, bringing the truth. 3.5 hours of truth. It's a lot. It's a lot. Better absorb it. And if you don't see me again here, brand new tube, because we know The days of truth are numbered on the brand YouTube. Trust me with that. Mondays on brand YouTube. You'll just have to tune into my channel. My channel is going to be my name on brand new tube, and it will be called You've Got to Be Kidding. That's the name of my podcast. You've Got to Be Kidding. So it's either going to be under Rachel Reenstra or You've Got to Be Kidding. And yeah, there'll be, I'm going to bring a lot of people on. I wish I would have been able to bring Jordan Maxwell on, but I will be showing the documentary of my drive with Jordan Maxwell that I was never able to show on YouTube, that I will be able to show in full glory. And I knew it just wasn't the time to show it, but my drive with Jordan Maxwell will be shown on brand new tube because it's a place that he would have appreciated the Freedom Platform. And I hope he knows that his life was not lived in vain, although he said it probably was. And he did want to leave this planet for sure. So there you go. Brand new tube. See you guys there on Monday. And if they don't take my channel down, I guess I'll see you guys here tomorrow night. So, you comfortable?